What's happening, everybody, and welcome back to the True Gamer Podcast, the podcast hosted by two gamers for you, the true gamers. I'm one of your hosts, Eddie, along with my bro, the inverted gamer himself, Sheps. Bro, how are you doing today?
Yeah, all right. Not
doing
too
okay.
bad. Yeah.
Doing great today in our brand new. This is our brand new.
This is not our brand new studio. Do you know what's funny is as you were doing that, I was thinking, oh great, all this extra space, and somehow I'm even more confined than normal.
It's because it's in a weird spot that you're not used to, and we have to mount the mic and the camera in a weird way. It's sort of like weird. But yeah, this is the last day that we're going to be recording in the old studio.
That's right.
And I have to. This morning I thought about it, and I was getting a little bit emotional.
I saw your tweet.
We've had so many different ways of trying to make this small space work.
Setups. Yeah.
And how cluttered it's always been, and it's served us well. The streaming that we've done in here, the conversation days we've done in here.
Yeah, I know.
The amount of conversations, the jokes we've had in here.
There's been some good ones.
Some good ones. And some bad ones.
And some terrible ones. A little bit of me is not worried, but I have this secret fear. It won't come true because it never does. But that when we have enough room and enough, we've got all the equipment that we need and we don't have to make do. A lot of these guys don't know the original videos were stuff was held together with duct tape or whatever, right? Just all over the place, making do so that everything behind the camera was a bomb site.
Yeah.
But the front, the view looked good. And now a little bit me is afraid that because we have everything, we have the experience, we'll have the space, somehow we won't be able to get the magic because it all worked because it had to work. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we were making it
Definitely not true. But I just for some reason have that fear.
What if this room actually was the source of our humor, our source of our great takes?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna go somewhere else, and it's my powers are gone.
We're just literally two guys sitting together. I like to play video games. How about you?
Video games, they're quite fun. I like them.
Talking of video games, have you been playing anything recently?
So. Not a lot because of the moving that I've been doing.
Of course, yeah.
But I did start something that confused a lot of people on Twitter. Because I've got those when my trophies pop and then it pops on Twitter and whatnot.
I love seeing Eddie unlocks 3 bronze trophies for because you're going through to get your platinum and stuff. Yeah.
Well, one popped up and it said Eddie got a bronze trophy. It said one bronze trophy.
Sick.
In God of War, and they were like. I thought you platinumed it.
Of course
it's such a God of War stan. How do you not have that? And I was like, I'm a fake fan. So I'm a fake fan. I didn't tell them anything. But what it was that I started playing the original God of War games.
Right.
And that was the first trophy that I popped on there. I only got to play 45 minutes, and then I got interrupted by Isla, I had to leave. But even this is the thing. This is why I needed to play it, and why I'm going to continue playing it, because that first 45 minutes gave me insight to God of War 2018.
Yeah.
There's one, if anyone remembers the bit where you fall off the edge of the world tree, the realm between realms bit. The way he falls, sort of head first, you're sort of that's a weird way to fall.
Yeah.
It's a throwback to the first game where he tries to jump off the thing and tries to kill himself.
Yeah.
I didn't know that until playing this game right here. It's so cool.
There's a lot of things that it's one of those things. Don't expect these games to be anywhere near. They're good. They're good. They had a cult following. I was a fan.
Yeah.
But they aren't obviously 2018. But there are things there's a scene when Kratos goes and retrieves the Chaos Blades.
Yeah.
And he sees, I think it's Athena.
Spoiler
alert. And she says you'll never be anything but a monster. And he's like, yeah, but not your monster. If you don't know Kratos, and you don't know what he's been through and all that stuff, it's okay, he's seeing some old thing, and these blades are, he's got some weight attached to them.
Yeah.
When you know what that all really means and why his arms are bandaged and all this stuff, it's just so much heavier. And I'm kind of with you. I would like to replay those games and then play the God of War 4 update. With the haptic and stuff, and just relive it all again one more time. That would be. See, I'm waiting.
But Sony Santa Monica Studios won't get off their lazy asses.
That's it. They're lazy.
Lazy. They're not even making Ragnarok, apparently. And also, it's a DLC. Who the fuck cares? You know?
I've heard they've reused a lot of animation.
It's more of the same thing. It's just a little expansion on the set.
How did you find those 45 minutes?
I liked it a lot. Obviously, it's the old dated camera angles and controls. I'm using I'm trying to instinctively move the camera, but that's actually the dodge on the stick there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit, I'm doing the wrong thing. What's going on here?
Yeah.
But the animations with the swinging of the Chaos Blades are really cool.
Satisfying.
And I'm like,
the Chaos Blades are cool.
They had this down back in the day.
Yeah.
So
I will
really
say,
cool.
although there is a good story in there, those original 3 games are more of like a hack and slash, just kill your way to the top sort of thing. Whereas God of War 2018 is much more an experiential, like learn the story, learn these characters.
Yeah.
It's still good though. It's very cool because, like, I think you'd know, because you didn't play those original games, when you go down to Helheim at the very end where you see Zeus in the sky, I'm freaking out like, what's down here? Like, is there an afterlife for the gods? Are we going to see him? I'm like, I need to know, which, by the way, I need to know. But you're like, oh, that's cool. Well, not you, but like the person who this is their first game, they're like, I wonder what that's about. And then they go, oh, apparently Kratos killed this person. But like me, I'm like, oh my God, it's freaking Zeus. It's his dad, you know? So, anyway, yeah, cool. I'm glad you're playing those old games.
I'm looking forward to it.
And it's a good thing you finished the other games, old games that you were playing, like Halo 2, Halo 3. You got through Mass Effect 1 so you could play Mass Effect 2. You know, of course you did, because your backlog of games didn't need to get bigger or like started and then, you know, dragged out.
About that.
Also, the worst thing about that is it's so frustrating for me because all the games on that list, I'm like, well, of course you got to play it. Of course you got to play the original God of Wars. Like, I can't fault you for that. Or if you're like, okay, I'm going to put Mass Effect on hold to play like Halos 2 and 3. I'm like, well, I can't fault you for that. You know? Anyway.
Have you been playing anything?
No.
Oh, good.
So, funny story.
Uh-huh.
I got your Elden Ring.
Oh, yes. You did last week.
I did, yeah. I took it home. I installed it. And
and you pulled an Eddie. You didn't play it.
I pulled a Sheps. I'm sitting there. I fire up the loadings, you know, the character creation. And I'm like sitting there. And I don't know what any of these stats do. Because there's a few different models. There's not a huge difference. And I hear that it doesn't really matter. I asked on Twitter. But I'm like, I don't know what it does, and it does say press this for help, I guess, for an explanation. That doesn't work for me, because of course it does a first bug, right? So I'm like, I don't know what these stats do. And I'm like, do you know what? This is a problem for another day. I'll ask Twitter, come back when I have some more like knowledge, and I'll just pick whatever. So I asked Twitter, get some feedback, sit down, fire up my PlayStation again, and realize that, you know, because obviously now playing Elden Ring is my main mission, that what also came out was Vampire Blood Hunt.
Oh,
Masquerade Blood Hunt. And so I downloaded that.
Oh, God. Typical Sheps fashion right there.
I can't. I'm just a freaking, you know, like, you know, when I'm a cat with like red laser beams all over the floor, you know, or when a laser beam hits like a disco ball, I'm just. So I do really want to start Elden Ring because everything I hear of it, my brother shows me something. He hasn't played it either, but he's watched all the. He's one of those guys that if he's not going to get a game, he'll just watch all the story stuff for it.
Right.
And apparently the story in Elden Ring's nuts.
There are people that do that. I've never done that myself, but I know people that do that.
I'm an actual gamer.
Well, you see, this is the thing. If it's you're watching it, I can't put myself in their mind, right? I can't do that. But there are some people that watch it with their favorite streamer or their favorite YouTuber, and I'm like, okay, I can see that because you're also there for the community and the jokes that come with that. But I've never known. I mean,
I wouldn't do that if I hadn't played the game.
I mean, that's the thing. You're putting the time in anyway.
I
So
feel
like
slightly different if it's
I'm
like
not throwing shade at anyone, by the way. I'm
it's
just
like
saying.
it's different if it's our guys, but we generally we don't stream brand new games anyway. But if people want to experience stuff with us, that's cool. But I understand. Like if we're playing The Witcher 3, I understand that everybody turning up to those streams. Most people have played it by now. They're not really getting spoiled. It's a really old game. Not really old, but you know, it's out there. If it's like brand new, like a bunch of our guys say, hey, I want to support you, but like I don't want to get spoiled. Yeah. Cool, bless. I totally understand. I get that, and I'm sort of more on that thing. But my brother just wants to know the story. Has no intention of playing the game, just wants to know.
Interesting.
Really weird. But apparently the story bangs.
Yeah.
So
it's only 8 minutes long. How could it bang?
Maybe it's a killer story, bro.
A killer story.
It's a sick short story.
It's like shorter than an anime, and it just.
Exactly. Well, no, basically it's an anime, but they missed the intro, they cut out the outro, skip that middle bit in between, skip the catch up, and boom, you're down to 8 minutes. It's blessed.
That's forever gonna be in my head. It's just like, because before I didn't know I didn't have the context, and when you said it, I was like, okay, that doesn't make it at all different at all. So, there's still 1,000 episodes to watch.
Oh god, yeah, One Piece, yeah.
That doesn't help.
I took it down. Look, mate, you just do what I say. It's only 8,000 minutes. It's nothing. There's nothing. Easy watch. God. Weekend binge.
Weekend binge is good enough, you know. Well, speaking of things that waste all of our time, people that waste all of our time, just
right.
A bunch of people. We have a group of people to thank. So people that make this show possible, the guys who support us over at patreon.com/Conbrosations.
You have to figure out which direction the / is on your own, guys. You're screwed. Watch our Patreon drop all the way. Yeah, it's / on the screen. Because I'm also on the other side.
That way? I don't know which way I'm
going
to do it.
To me, it's a /.
Oh, yeah, it is. Okay. All right.
I'm freaking smart, boys.
I was wondering.
Big, wrinkly brain.
I was wondering, has he been doing it wrong this whole time? You've actually been doing it right.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Some thought.
People who support us over at patreon.com/Conbrosations. There's super bro tier who make this show and everything on Conbrosations happen. Those amazing people are Diogo Dildo, Isak the Ultimate Cumso, Sabine from Smallville, the Star Wars Encyclopedia, Adam Sunling. By the way, happy May the 5th, everyone. It's
Excuse me?
May the 5th be with you. It's the 5th today, isn't it? I can't say it's the 4th. It's no longer the 4th.
Pardon me?
Catsman the Friendly Patron, Jeremy Renner, that's right, an official Avenger, Super Sus Ben Fryer, the Filthy FIFA Fanatic Joe McCormack, Clark the 53rd, My Juicy Left Nut, the Super Sexy Producer Sean, and that's it.
That's it. That's the end of the list.
That's the end of the list.
It's a pity, but that is how it ends.
We rested our entire list upon Kevin Crowe.
No, the big problem is that we rested our entire list on you making the list. And that has been our downfall.
True, and I set up this grand joke that spanned the entire... How many months he's been patron forever?
Yeah, ages.
And now, the list feels incomplete.
The problem is we get a few bangers in there. So you got like Kevin with his like amazing one. I'm not going to do it. You're not getting it for free.
No, not free. No.
I'm a suit at heart. Or you get like Billy where it's like big boy Billy. Yeah. You can't like... It's so satisfying.
Yeah.
And then you're like, you build the list around it because obviously you know these big like, I don't know, hook sounds are coming.
Yeah.
And then of course, like, you know, people's financial situation change or they realize we make trash content.
They finally wake up to that. Yeah.
Right. And then they change tier, whatever. Right. And then the list is just out there like,
so really, it's our fault for building our list off of such a changeable,
talented people, yeah, a talented and changing talent pool, and we build a permanent list around it. Now I know what it feels like when like a girl is with one of us, and they're like, finally you reveal, you know, you drop chow, and they're like, oh, well, that's disappointing.
Well,
I can't do sex now. I've got a thing.
Very important thing.
I just remembered. I've got a work meeting. It's 10 p.m. on a Saturday.
Super important.
It's global.
They're in America. They're the clients in America. That's why I'm just
it's
over
Japanese investors.
Swiss. That's the cheese. Swiss cheese.
Swiss cheese. It's to do with Swiss cheese. It's a very big business deal.
Just say words. Anything.
Just eventually something will slot in. Yes, and.
Thank you. Thank you guys. This has turned into a Combros podcast. Thank you guys so much for supporting us over on Patreon. We love you guys so much, and we'll see you guys all in the next studio.
In the next studio, yeah.
Thank you very much, bro.
Yes.
Today we have a couple of interesting topics to talk about. We have Modern Warfare 2 officially being revealed.
Yeah.
And how awesome that sounds. Square Enix selling almost all of their Western studios to Embracer Group. And WB, who might be shopping around their game studios as well.
Yeah.
To people like Microsoft, Sony, EA, and all the big people. But I want to start off with... WB.
Not UB.
No, UB we spoke about last week.
Did we?
I think we did.
Maybe.
There is more updates
There's
on the
more
Ubi
updates
one
have
as
happened,
well.
so that's what I thought you were going to say. That's why I was
Right.
confused when you said double B? WB.
But I want to start off with a question.
Yes. Answer.
Are games too long? This is the whole. Let me explain the whole idea behind this question. So, a while ago, if you remember, Sean Layden, after he left PlayStation, he made the.
I do remember this. I know exactly what you're going to say. Yeah.
He made the assertion that like games are getting really, really big now. They're getting really, really expensive, and the development times are getting way, way too long. And they're coming out like every 5, sometimes 6 years to between games from a studio, and they kind of need to come out quicker to like satiate the demand and whatnot. And he was pitching the idea that maybe they should make smaller games that are still like good quality, but like tighter narrative games, so you can satiate the demand and come out more frequently. Mm-hmm. So maybe drop that down to like 3 or 4 years every game would come out from a studio. That happened. People had their discussion and they had their points on each side. And yesterday, this sort of came up again from a guy called Gene Park. He works over at Washington Post, and he's usually okay. He said something pretty dumb earlier that I was really pissed off about, and that's kind of why I went to town on this tweet that he made. But he made this tweet saying, "I really want Sony Studios to downscale their projects. I'm hungry for the new Naughty Dog game that doesn't take 5 years and tireless crunch to make." I get the sentiment behind that. Where he's like, he doesn't want to wait for so long, and he also doesn't want it to be a massive undertaking that it kills the studio morally and like mentally and stuff like that. But I put out the tweet saying, in quotation marks, this is essentially what he's saying: I want to change the formula of the great games Naughty Dog are making and that I love, but I don't want to change the final product, because at the end of the day, he doesn't want to change the final product. He just wants to change how it's made and how you get to that destination.
He wants to McDonald's it, go from real hamburgers to a Big Mac.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Now, I spoke about this with people on Twitter, and people had opposing opinions, and I was a little bit hot coming out of the gate, and I've had other feelings. I still feel like I'm in the same sort of ballpark, but there are pros and cons to this. And I want to have this as a discussion here today on this podcast. And you guys can write in the comment sections or with your thoughts based on everything that we say, and I'd love to hear from you guys. What do you think the idea should be? Should games get smaller and come out more frequently? Yeah. Or do you think that maybe something else should be done, like maybe the Sony approach, where maybe they charge a little bit more, but then games continue to be the big size that they are, or something like that? What do you think?
Initial thoughts, I'm really glad I let you finish what you were going to say. Okay. Because it was a really well-crafted tweet. And my response was going to be, Gene Park, you're a freaking idiot. You're a fucking moron, bruv. Dickhead. It's the dumbest... okay, good. I thought it was a Superman freaking pillar.
Oh, do you want one?
No, it's okay. That is incredibly stupid. That's one of the dumbest things I've seen on the internet. However... There is some point there. Counterpoint to this, the Order 1886, which while had some fantastic things about it, was short. And I would argue suffered because it wasn't long enough. And then there are games on the opposite spectrum, like Valhalla, that is just bloated and too big to be big. To say, look how much we gave you, right? It's weird that he picked what he picked, though. Yeah. Because... off the top of my head, those titles that he mentioned, that he sort of alluded to, are like God of War, Ghost of Tsushima, Horizon Forbidden West,
Uncharted, The Last of Us,
like longer games. Sort of, I think the average playtime will probably be somewhere in the 30s. You could get it done in 20-ish, but like probably 30 to 40 hours, right? But you're constantly engaged, you're enjoying it, you're loving it. If the game is packed full of stuff you want to do, like people are putting hundreds of hours into Elden Ring. Yeah. Right? And Elden Ring, ironically, is one of the ways, I think I've said this for a while, which is that I don't want games to become 500 hours long. Yeah. I'd rather a game be 30 hours long, but I have 40 entirely different ways to play it. Where I could play this game start to finish 40 different ways and get 40 different experiences. Roughly, obviously the story beats will be generally similar, but like...
It's what we wanted out of Cyberpunk 2077. I got burnt on
exactly. And it seems like, weirdly, Elden Ring's kind of doing that. Although you have to go through the same story, you can customize your characters to such a drastic extreme.
Yeah.
I saw one guy that made functionally just like a dude in a barrel, like he was barrel shaped, and his weapons were 2 shields. Anyway, versus like a guy with a massive sword, versus a guy that did like an anime build. Like they can do so many different things. There's a huge amount of Elden Ring content out there, and I vibe with that.
Yeah.
So I think games need to be long enough and not overshoot it, and especially the guys he picked have been nailing it.
This is the thing. That was what my main criticism was of that, is because he went and picked a game that a studio, Naughty Dog,
Yeah.
or even Sony Studios, in fact, he says right there, that never have been criticized for overstaying their welcome. They've
Right.
always been saying, wow, everything I played was great. Maybe I didn't like this thing, but they never said it was too long. That was
Yeah.
never their thing. And asking to keep
Ironically-
the same product at the end, but then going, I want to fuck with the formula. How do you expect to get the same result?
I
at
want you
the
to do
end?
the same work, but I'm going to reduce your time frame, obviously adjust the budget accordingly.
It's like a movie. It's like it's Zack Snyder's Justice League, right? The
Yes.
studio came in and were like, yo, you need to make this under 3 hours. And it's like, look, there's a lot of story here. Can we make it maybe in 2 parts or something like that? They're like, no, it has to be one movie. It has to be under 2 hours. He couldn't make it. He submitted something that was just over 3 hours. And then after he left, Joss Whedon produced the under 3 hours version, and it was dog crap.
Yeah.
You sacrifice...
Every time we talk
So I'm
about...
saying it's possible. I'm not saying it's impossible to do.
you can get it to fit in the time frame. That's not the problem.
You could be sacrificing a lot, and I love how there seems to be no
The
consideration.
Snyder Cut's a
in
great
that.
example of that, because we got a movie that was under 3 and then got the better version of it, which was over 4 hours long, and I don't think I've ever noticed the time watching it, and I've watched it a few times.
Yeah,
I've never noticed how long it is because I was engaged, and the story beats were better and the pacing was better. And in fairness, devil's advocate, there has been one complaint that I've seen with regards to Naughty Dog about how long a game was.
yeah.
And the complaint was specifically how long you play as Abby.
Yeah.
I have no problems with the length of The Last of Us 2. I do feel that Abby's time could have been better paced. Like, we didn't need to go through that weird dream hospital 5 times.
That was something strange, right? I was like, are we doing this again?
Right.
It's like,
And is something changing? Am I missing something? Have the paintings changed? What's going on? I don't know. So, okay, sure. But overall, the game's length is great. And it's just right. It scratches that itch. Whereas you take a game like... How long is Valhalla?
I've heard it's something like 100 hours. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, so that's the
Let
thing.
me,
It's like,
should we
it's
have
100
a
hours.
look for the rough thing? How long to beat AC Valhalla?
Because there's beating it and then, like, I guess completing it, like completionist runs.
Okay, all right. So
'Cause,
the
like-
main story says 59 and a half hours.
See, that's...
Fucking
No,
hell.
that's not okay. So, like, I'll give you an example. The Witcher 3, to do everything, it's, I think, 173 hours to 100% everything. To beat the game, 25, I think, to play the story and enjoy what we enjoyed, somewhere in that 20 to 30 hour range.
Yeah.
And there's more there if you want it. Whereas it feels like, and this is my interpretation from what people are saying, that Valhalla is just long. It just takes a long time to beat. And that's not cool. I could maybe understand if it took somebody that long to beat Elden Ring because they were having a hard time with it. But that's the kind of game where if you put in that much time, you're enjoying the process.
Yeah, if you've chosen to put that much time.
Right. Like, I suspect I'm not going to get very far in Elden Ring. I just don't enjoy that kind of
We'll
thing.
see.
But I want to try it, and I got to say, the problem is me in it, because I'm like, main mission, let's play Elden Ring. Ooh, this is shiny. But I'm so interested in it because after seeing Gerg did this big, I'm never complimenting him on anything else because he's a freaking idiot, but he
He's
did
an
this
arsehole, yeah.
huge video on Demon's Souls and Bloodborne.
Yeah.
And I watched the whole thing. It was a very, very good video. And my key takeaway was these are amazing games that have a playstyle that I just don't vibe with, and a story mechanic that I don't vibe with, like having to read. If you guys have seen us read anything, you'll understand why. I want to be shown my story. I don't want to have to like pick up, tattered prisoner's diary and read it. But Elden Ring, it seems to be a ton of people's first way in.
Yeah.
And no one's... How long to beat Elden Ring? I wonder. How long to beat Elden Ring? 100% is 152 hours.
Is there how long to beat website?
Elden Ring is about 50 hours, people are saying.
Let me type it on my one as
How
well.
long to beat.com, yeah. Hold on, talking about yourselves. When focusing on the main objectives, Elden Ring is about 50 hours in length. If you want to see everything, 126.
Whew.
Here's the thing. I don't hear anyone complaining about how long Elden Ring is.
Yeah.
So, you know, I do think 50 is probably the upper limit of what I would tolerate. If I haven't completed a game by 50 hours and I've been playing, maybe not me. If the average person who's trying to beat the game hasn't finished it, me, I'll spend 40 hours in Skyrim and never meet the greybeards because I'm an idiot, you know. But like a regular person that can follow a map, if they can't beat it in 50 hours, you're probably going way overboard.
With Elden Ring, it's a special case because it is such like an open world, and there are bosses that you can skip entirely, and it doesn't affect the story, or you can do every single boss, and it still doesn't change the outcome of the story.
Or you can push hard and get it down under 10 minutes.
Exactly, there's that. So that's a special case scenario.
Yeah.
Now, with the discussion I was having with other people, a couple of people brought up some other examples. Some games like Uncharted Lost Legacy, which was amazing, but it was a shorter game. Spider-Man Miles Morales, which was amazing, but also a shorter game.
Shorter end, yeah.
And I had two counterpoints to that. One, with Spider-Man, it's Insomniac, and they kind of operate on a different level of time than we do. So we can't really incorporate their development time into anything.
It's not reasonable to look at Insomniac and go, well, they can do it.
They did it in 2 years. It's like, no.
Yeah, but there's a reason Henry Cavill can be Superman. Neither of us are getting cast. None of you are getting cast as Superman.
Exactly. It's just not fair. You can't say that.
Right.
But also, both of those games were built off of the foundation of Spider-Man PS4 and Uncharted 4. So all of the base level work in terms of the engine, the look, the assets, the mechanics, all that kind of stuff were already done. And you put on a new skin and did a lot of development work on top. I'm not trying to take anything away from that, but it wasn't building from the ground up from zero. And that's why you could get that done in like 2 years or whatever.
But one other key thing.
And also that factors in the price as well.
Yes.
The price was a lot lower because they already did everything. This was just gravy, and hopefully
assets,
and hopefully they can get some more money off of it. If they had done it from scratch, granted, that would never have been the same sort of price.
Also, question for you,
Go on.
building on that. Who's the target audience for that? Is it people who've never played a Spider-Man game and are going to go and play Miles Morales? Or is it fans of Spider-Man PS4 who jump onto it? What about the Uncharted one? Same?
Yeah.
Right. So like it's going to a targeted audience. They know you like it. They know you like the story. Of course, some people it'll be their first way in.
Yeah.
But the majority of people are expected to sort of have an idea of what's going on because it's for them.
Yeah.
And it's a shorter edition. So, yeah, I'm with you, man. Like, I don't want my full games to be 12 hours long. Also, because then I do worry that they'll just go, well, it's coming. There's another part coming. We don't have to worry about this one banging. You know,
See,
if you know you're 5 years between paychecks.
This is where I was in the beginning of the conversation, because I was like, there's so many ramifications to making things smaller. First of all, we're in an age now where people just don't want to spend money on video games for some reason. I don't know why that is, but people don't want to spend money on their games. Well, I know why it is, but we won't say. Making their games shorter is only going to exacerbate that problem. It's only going to make it worse. People are going to be like, that's not worth the money. There was an idiot who came at me on Twitter who was saying that all these story games like The Last of Us and God of War and all that stuff are shit. You get nothing for your dollar.
No PvP experience. What are you talking about? You're an idiot.
Not games like Call of Duty or Destiny where you get hundreds of hours. And I was like, there's such a different thing. People who love those games are great, no problem. But this is such a different thing.
We're those guys as well.
Exactly.
But I'm not going to compare Fortnite, which is free, and you can put thousands of hours on it, to The Last of Us 2.
Exactly.
That's
the dumbest argument I've ever heard.
Prior to Steven's thing, which was the dumbest, that's now the dumbest thing.
Exactly. So that's one point that I was thinking that is going to be exacerbated with this issue. But then also I thought to myself, look, if somehow they could pull it off, where they can make smaller games, where they can make games that are of a 15 hours, let's say, but keep the quality. Maybe you have to make the price more reasonable now because you are reducing the amount that you're giving to people.
You're not getting some.
The standard was set. The standard was set that you were getting like 30-hour games for like $70 or whatever, so you have to adjust the price accordingly.
I don't know if that's viable because half the price is into like mocap and the quality of your voice actors. And
this is the problem. It doesn't scale. It's not like, oh, the game that you're making is 30 hours, so therefore it costs 70. If it's half the time, then it's half the price. It doesn't scale like that because the base is front-loaded. You're making an engine, you're making all the assets, you make all the characters, and then just the length of it is less work to do. But the thing is, gamers don't understand that, and that's the revolt that we will get. And I don't understand how people are just ignoring that part.
What they might do is just build one game, split it, and charge you $45 per half, and now your games, we're getting more often. You're paying 50% more.
That's
you're paying
another part.
90 for a game instead of 70.
That's another part. And all of these points that we're bringing up here, all of this stuff, is just because of the greed of someone who wants more games quickly.
Yeah.
Just be patient. And the way to solve the problem, the better way to solve the problem, the way that it should be done, and I think the way it's going to be doing, is PlayStation or Microsoft or whoever it is you're going to get games from, get more studios, open more studios, create more games, more IPs, so in between those 5 years, you get other things to play.
Other banger titles. Instead of having 2 titles that release one game every 2 years, you have 4 studios that release 4 titles, but they're spread out every 5 years and they're leapfrogging each other.
Exactly. I don't understand how your first thought is to sacrifice what you have. Your first thought is to change what you have currently that you love so much, that is leading the industry to change what you've got. Why is that your first thought? Anyway, sorry, I'm rambling now.
Go for it, brother. I'm digging it. Question.
Go ahead.
And this isn't massive. Like, I know there's not a huge like replay culture.
Yeah.
A lot of people just play games and trade them in. But there are a lot of people that like to replay games.
Yeah.
Do you think games' replayability will suffer if the game is 2 or 3 games at 15 hours long versus one game at 40? I got my opinions. What do you think? Think you're more likely to play God of War 2018 if it's God of War 2018 or if it's God of War 2018, 2020, 2020? Do you know what I mean?
There is the aspect that if it's shorter, it's easier to pick back up. But if you know that it's only going to be this...
I'll tell you where I am.
Go on.
I flat out wouldn't bother to replay it.
Really?
If I wasn't getting my full game. If I want to play God of War, I want to play God of War.
Yeah.
I don't want to... Or The Last of Us 2. Like, I want to play the whole thing. I don't want to sit there... to me, it's weird because, like, I'm not a completionist. I'm not, like, a 100% type guy. But if it's only 15 hours long, I'm not even going to bother starting it. You know? It's just not... It's almost not worth investing that one... Sinking in those few hours because I'm only going to get those few hours. Do you know what I mean?
I was going to say the people that brought up the Miles Morales and Uncharted Lost Legacy and whatnot, you don't hear so much. Miles Morales, I think, is a special case because it's Spider-Man. I think that was going to be a banger regardless.
Yeah, of course.
But Uncharted Lost Legacy, let's say, people don't talk about these like expansions, these DLCs, let's say, as much as they talk about the main game. And that probably lends to the idea that people don't replay them as much because they don't see them as being worth their time. They think the core thing is the more important thing to replay.
Interesting point that you just sort of caught in my head. If you were going to think the benchmark for DLC, what is it?
The Witcher.
Right.
The Witcher's DLC, yeah.
Heart of Stone and Blood and Wine, which combined to be 30 hours.
Yeah.
One of the standout things of that DLC was how long they were, and that they were as good as, I would argue, Blood and Wine's every bit as good, if maybe better, than the base game. And that was like 20 hours. It was almost a complete game in itself. Let me just double check that. But like, our benchmark for DLC was that they basically brought out another game.
Yeah.
Let me just check this. How long to beat? What was it called?
How to beat Blood and Wine. How long to beat one?
just double check. So they say if you just mainline it, 15 and a half hours.
Okay.
But like the stuff that regularly, 28 hours. That's your regular person who's not just trying to complete it. They're just playing it. That's a full game.
Yeah.
That is an entire game. 28 hours is a full game.
Yeah.
And that was our benchmark for look how good this DLC is. So it boggles my mind. The big thing, and you led out with this, is that you're asking to change the recipe. You're asking to say, I love what you make. I want more of it. So change what you make.
That's
What?
Crazy. I don't understand the mindset. Again, like I said at the beginning, I understand his initial idea, the thought that popped into his head. But did he have a moment afterwards where he had a thought after that to think, okay, what would that entail? That would entail changing everything that made it great. Maybe this isn't a good idea.
Yeah. Maybe I should just sit here and want a thing and know that it's not worth changing it to get it more often. You know? How many times have we seen that happen? I mean, look, we mentioned Valhalla a few times. I think the big thing about Valhalla is, and AC in general, is that I'm not an AC guy, if this is your first time watching. It seems to me that where AC fell down was that Ubisoft were trying to get it out to as many people as possible and not a hardcore group of fans of people that were going to vibe with it because it specifically catered to that group. And if you're in that group, great. That's why From do so well, because they're in their group. They cater to a certain type of gamer. Yeah. And they stuck to it, and they've ended up with Elden Ring. And AC departed from that and has ended up with Valhalla. I think it just makes sense to know who you are, know what you make, and make what you're known for. Do a good job at that.
Yeah.
It blows my mind. Like, I get wanting more. I get wanting more God of Wars and stuff. I understand that. But if you have to wait 5 years to get Horizon Forbidden West, I wouldn't change that game. I don't want that different. I don't want that shorter. That was a perfect length. And it had the quality and the writing. I may have done a bit more work on Halo, but good enough, right? Certainly good enough. Like, why diminish that? Why diminish that? I don't understand it.
This is crazy to me because the thing is that I'm gonna circle back. It's about his insinuation. Remind me, keep that in mind if I forget. Just in case. I'm gonna circle back. What initially made me annoyed with this guy is that he was saying that he was saying the PlayStation community, the PlayStation gamers out there are like so toxic and such a toxic fan base.
I'm sure there are some.
Like that. There's always toxic people in everything, right? It's fucking awful.
See it.
Well, whatever it is, I'm like, okay, whatever. And he was like, "What? Anytime I say anything, they're always at me. And I'm like, it's because you're part of the media. And
also, you're putting it out in the public space.
Exactly. You got to expect something back, right? You can't expect everyone just to go, "Yep, there we go."
Well done.
Can't believe you said opinion. That. Even when I say something, people come back at me. That's the whole point, to have a discussion. And if your point's stupid, you're gonna get cooled down being stupid.
I don't agree with this point. Here's my counterpoint. Oh wait, you disagree with me? No, I don't want to hear it. You're so toxic.
It was so dumb because, and I was saying to him, I was like, look, you're part of the media, and the reason why a lot of people have hate towards you is because it seems to be in the more recent years, whenever PlayStation does something bad, it's flamed to the point that the ashes are turned into ashes and ashes of ashes and crumbs. Nothing is left of PlayStation at that point. And then when Xbox does something, it seems to get like a free pass, and be like a little bit of a light sizzle on it, and then it's like, cool, no problem. We've forgotten about that.
And then it goes away, and then they double the price of Xbox Live anyway.
All this stuff,
It
just seems to go past, right? Yeah. And I feel like it's like a reaction from the gaming community. The people who, don't get me wrong, gaming can like skew a little bit younger sometimes, especially people on Twitter and things like that. Yeah. So they have a bit of a hotter head and a hotter mouth. But that's the kind of reaction that you're inciting by being so obviously biased and obviously stupid in everything that you say. Yeah. So that's why people hate you. Now, what was I going to say about him?
You were going to circle back. You were talking about... So this is the thing, you didn't tell me what it was about. You just said, remind me to circle back about this. This is gonna be a great point, and it's never gonna get told.
Shit, it's never gonna get told again, is it?
Do you know what? Just stop the podcast halfway through and be like, I remembered it. It's cool.
It was about him being so... Shit, no, it's gone.
It's terrible.
It's gone forever.
Feel free to just circle straight back. If you remember you're like, we're going to... Yeah.
Anyway, I feel like this is just a weird point to make, especially because you're supposed to... I remembered it.
Sick.
I remembered it. Okay. So when they say that the gaming community is so toxic and so immature and have stupid points to make, then you have these people making these kind of points that have had no thought whatsoever put behind them. And then it's like, okay, so we're the bad guys. We're the ones that are the assholes because we're passionate about games when the media put themselves on such a high pedestal and in their ivory towers. When they make stupid assertions like this, they have no thought put into them. All he's doing here is, like I said, he's impatient and wanting to rush games to make them worse. When we're all over here saying, whoa, calm down, be patient, let the devs do their thing. Who's the toxic people in this scenario?
He's the sort of guy that would piss into the wind and then complain that PlayStation fans are the reason he has wet socks.
Yeah.
You know? Like, it's just... It's ridiculous and it's so silly. And like you say, these people believe that because they have, like, the bullhorn, they have the megaphone, that because they're in charge of a megaphone, that their opinion's better.
Yeah.
And also that they're therefore informed on all these other issues as well. And it's like, first of all, these are opinions. And yours, by the way, have been mostly trash.
Yeah.
You know, and if you look at most journalists, there's a big, long list of L's. And we have our own fair share of L's, but nowhere near as big as these guys.
At least I was talking about, we have, like, ideas and thoughts.
We'll actually play a game before we talk about it.
And even then we say, like, you know, this thing may turn out to be different. We leave ourselves open for discussion, open for criticism, and give fair points where it's due.
I'll give you a perfect example of this.
These guys seem to believe they're better than everyone.
Starfield.
Yeah.
Hope it's good.
Yeah.
It could well be good, but everybody talking about it like it's the best thing since sliced bread. We don't know anything about the game.
Yeah.
It might be. You might be right. It would be cool if it was, because at the end of the day, good games are good for gamers. Yeah. We all win when we all play, right? I hate myself. But we don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
And so you can't honestly say best game of the year or anything. It might be, but we don't know anything yet.
Yeah.
That's what we always say. Not, it can't win because it's an Xbox game and it's coming from Bethesda or whoever it is, BioWare. Bethesda, yeah. Like, what we say is, you're saying these things, we don't know about it. You can't make that assertion. We don't know. You might be right, but we don't know.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. So, you know, get fricked. And especially games journalists, like, boys, seriously, stop paying attention to games journalists. Typically, you can judge the direction of the wind by looking at games journalists and just doing a 180.
Yeah. They're always going to be against it. They're always going to be against it.
Tell me I'm wrong. Because, look, God of War is just not a tender story. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, seriously, how real... I'll really put this out there. If you have games journos that, like... When I say journalists, I mean like official journalists, not like Nibel, who really just puts news out.
Yeah.
How is it a guy can be impartial and these guys can't figure out? Besides the point. If you know any actual games journalists that are worth following, you know, let me know, because I've not been impressed. But like the king of the group is Jason Schreier, and I'm not impressed.
Yeah.
You know, and it gets worse, or it doesn't really improve when you get away from him. Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't improve.
Did you see what he wrote about the Activision deal?
Loser.
I had to go find it because he's blocked me, obviously, because he's a baby. He said... Well,
that's the same point as well. Anybody disagrees with him, well, you're toxic.
That's such a dumb thing as well for a journalist. It's like you're supposed to be... Your whole idea of you is free speech and discussion, and you're blocking people because you don't want to hear their words. Anyway, he said... before the Activision board voted on whether or not the Microsoft deal should go through, he was like, it's very unlikely that it's going to go through because this was kind of put through very quickly and it was done mostly by Bobby Kotick, blah, 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 and the other people are feeling very skittish. And then it comes through and apparently it was like a 98% approval rate. Right. Like, you know nothing.
Yeah, you have no idea.
Your thoughts were, what you were saying was kind of like you had inside sources, like you'd spoken to like 10 people and they were like, You didn't know shit, bitch.
The other thing, and this is true, I think, well, I've said it now and you heard it on the internet, that makes it true now. I'm going to speak it into reality. I think journalists are trained, whether they mean to or not, I think they just become trained to always focus on like the negative side of things, why things won't work. Because for some reason, I think it's been studied, I'm just not smart enough and haven't looked it up, but like, you know, bad news sells way better than good news.
Oh, yeah.
Way better. It just hooks your attention. I think it's something to do with your... Oh, there's a bit in your brain. Amygdala.
The amygdala.
I think it's that bit.
Isn't that a boss in like
in Elden Ring? Yeah.
I was saying, I think it's a Bloodborne boss.
It's something to do with that, and your brain just picks up on like stuff that might like be dangerous to you or be harmful. So that's why it picks up on negative stuff. So they, whether they mean to or not, end up trained to always report the downsides of things, the negatives. Or weirdly, did you see that article I retweeted from Bloomberg?
No.
Today? It was about like, inflation's really high. Here's things you can do to like, mate. Yeah. So either they're just like champagne socialists, they'll be rich, but you can just be starving in the fields somewhere, or they just focus on all the worst stuff.
That speaks to, as someone who doesn't really follow like conventional media, like in terms of like the news. I don't watch the news, and I don't.
That's because you're actually smart.
And like, I'm not very big into politics because I know that everyone's just a liar. So I'm like, why would I fucking care?
Anybody that thinks, politics is so important, they're the same guys. They're all the same guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A reason why I don't do that is when I see... Shit, I forgot my original point. Man, my brain is off today.
It's cool, man. You don't follow politics? I was talking about that Bloomberg article.
Oh yeah, it speaks to how terrible your own point and your own writing is, that you have to have this massive hook. Because if you was actually speaking something genuinely interesting and it was genuinely life changing, it doesn't matter about whether or not it's good or bad. It would just be that's the thing you're talking about. But no, they rely on all of the negative stuff because it has that human.
And then when it doesn't go their way, they like attack. Oh, gamers are all toxic. Blah blah. Like no, hold on, look. I can give a shit what you look like or who you are or what your name is or where you came from or what color your skin is. I'm attacking your arguments. I'm attacking in particular you as your very being. It's your existence. I don't care the little details around it, like who you go to bed with. Irrelevant. I'm attacking your point of view. Yeah. And what you said has to stand or fall on its own merits. And if you can't defend it, that means it's worthless. Simple as that. Right? Like, I don't care about any of this other stuff. You said this thing, I don't agree, here's my point of view, and then all they do is either say you're attacking me or they attack you. So okay, cool, I know you have nothing there, and that doesn't mean that I'm right and you're wrong. It means you have nothing. You've got nothing to say. You don't know what you're talking about. Freaking idiot, Jason.
Something that's become a Jason hate podcast. Let's start a new podcast, guys. Jason hate.
Let's do it.
Final thoughts on this whole game length thing.
I want my games to be good.
That's the thing. I feel like, as I said, I get the idea, wanting them to come out more frequently from like these core developers who do great things. You just want more experiences from them. I want more experiences from them. That's great. But the sacrifice is possibly sacrificing what makes them great. Also disturbing the balance between the consumer, where people are willing to pay a certain price for a certain product, and then possibly make it destabilizing the entire gaming industry and fucking things up for everybody. I don't think that's a good trade-off. I don't think there's a good reason to disturb that balance.
I agree with you.
And the fact that you, as someone who claims to be one of the people up the top who knows more than us common gamers over here, to be able to put that tweet out and not think of the ramifications and then go into the replies and then defend your point as if everyone else is a fucking idiot.
I'm still so proud of that piece I wrote about God of War. You're an idiot. Like, as if we never saw what happened with Call of Duty. Right? Well, a few amazing games come out. And we jump on the bandwagon because we play Call of Duty and it comes out every year. And then they stop being good. Because they either get burnt out or they're having to recycle stuff. Or as if we can't see what happens with FIFA, which just a reskin, and they move players to different... is FIFA worth $70 a year?
No. Hey, it's not even worth... It's a free on PS Plus right now, and I've still not downloaded it. It's not even worth, free.
Don't get me wrong. It's a game that I'm not interested, right, in.
Yeah.
But we can see... We've seen it. We've seen it with Call of Duty. We've seen it with FIFA. We've seen it with Madden. These games that come out yearly releases, and they are not breaking boundaries. they're not changing things. I was going to say changing the game. Like nothing's improving because of Call of Duty, right? Call of Duty did not push gaming forward. What pushed gaming forward were big titles. The Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, God of War. These things, not only Sony exclusives, but these big games, those are what change.
The only thing that Call of Duty has done that is, I agree. So it's 2 points. One that has actually been good for gaming is that it's got more people into watching games and like around games. People want to watch streamers. People want to watch a lot of people want to watch esports, even though that's not my kind of thing. That's cool. And a lot of people play things like Battle Royale and stuff like that. Yep. But the only other thing that it succeeded in doing is making people rich, making Activision rich. Yeah. It didn't. Activision was rich, and therefore Activision then gave us. We didn't get an amazing game out of it or amazing thing that they funded because they got all that money. Right? Just more Call of Duty, more Call of Duty, more Call of Duty.
And they got progressively worse. And
then Overwatch 2, which Vanguard. Is just Overwatch.
Can we just quickly talk about that?
Go on then.
I used to play Overwatch. I really enjoyed it in from 2017 to 2019 or something.
Yeah.
And there was talks about Overwatch 2 coming. And this was years ago, a year and a half ago, when it was in development. And I said, after what we saw, I'm like, it's just a patch. That's all it is. It's new maps. There's hardly any new. There's not new characters. There's not anything new. It's just new maps. I don't think this is really viable to charge people as if it's a brand new game. And everybody, most of the fan base, was just lambasting me. They're like, "You're an idiot. What do you expect? Blah blah blah." You haven't seen anything yet. You don't know what you're talking about. And then this all comes out. They release it. More news about it, and everybody sees it is literally just a patch. And it's dead on arrival.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed Overwatch back in the day, but there's no incentive.
Our boy Hookie has been playing the beta, and I asked him, I was like, "Yo, so what's it like? Is it any different? What's different from Overwatch 1? Is it a big change?" And he's like, "No. Absolutely nothing." And I was like, "Do they at least have cool one-liners still?" And they're like, "Yeah, it's just the same as it was in Overwatch 2." And I was like, "Well."
Okay, this is better frame rates and better graphics, right? So a patch, it's a DLC. Why am I'm not gonna pay a whole full game price. Now you could maybe release the maps as paid DLC. I think that would make sense. Yeah. That's the kind of game this should be. Cool, but not saying, "Oh yeah, you need to rebuy the game."
Yeah.
For the new maps and slightly better frame rates. No, I'm not going to do it, and it's dead on arrival. And we've said the same stuff. Honestly, it gets boring just beefing out these companies and being right all the time. Who could have ever seen that Halo Infinite would have flopped? And by the way, I don't agree that it flopped because allow that plane all my days.
There's not even an airport near my old house.
Oh yeah, it sounds like it's trying to land on the M25.
Exactly, what's going on?
I don't agree that Halo Infinite failed because it didn't have a battle royale.
Yeah,
I think it failed for a bunch of other reasons, and I think a battle royale probably would have been a good idea. It wouldn't have hurt, but I don't think that's why it died.
Yeah,
it's for all these same reasons. Because you keep churning out game, and not 343. Also, how long it took them to make that ridiculous. What's going on at 343? Because that is not a 5-year-long project.
That's funny to be like.
Do you know what I mean?
Here's the thing we made, and it's this is what you made in that much time,
right? And you're the premier studio at Microsoft, pretty much, with the premier title, an IP, and a suspected budget.
People underplay it, and this is all part of the thing that is currently going right now, where it's cool to hate on PlayStation, and it's not cool to point out any flaws of Xbox and stuff like that. But people don't understand how big of a deal it is that Halo Infinite flopped.
Massive.
It's their big IP. If they can't get it right with the IP with the most cachet, then it calls into question their ability to make games at all.
Yeah, especially when you think Halo's
and
so big.
I love how everyone ignores that. All of the media, everyone, when it comes into discussion, we just, it's cool, don't worry.
Halo's so big that you, as I only know new games guy, I've spent a decade wearing you down to say you've got to play it.
Yeah.
You've got to play the original 3 games. They come with updated graphics. Now you have no excuse. And those 3 are worth it. those three are worth the experience. But like seriously, Jesus Christ, Halo 3 flopping. Halo Infinite flopping is sort of like if The Last of Us 2 had flopped, or God of War Ragnarok flops. I feel like I care more about Ragnarok flopping, obviously, and it's because it's actually a successful franchise right now.
Yeah.
But imagine if Halo 3 had flopped at the time. That's what Halo Infinite doing is more like. It's ridiculous. I don't know how they did it. Talking of people that I don't know how they exist.
Yes.
Our true games over on patreon.com/conversations that make this specific podcast happen at the $5 tier. Who do we have to thank?
That is a good question.
God damn it. For the record, if you don't know, we now have no internet on purpose.
Yes.
Although we're not quite on purpose. Probably were expecting to be there. So we're running on a hotspot off Ed's phone.
Things take a bit of time.
It is taking a minute to load up.
I've got it now. Jeremy Horde, Sheps is crusty right nut, Isak Murney, Adam Sunling, Clark 53rd, Cats Bacoral, Sab2557, Joe McCormack, Random Wavelength, Diogo, Make the Nice Guys 2, please for the love of holy fuck Hollywood, Gams True Gamer Master, Gerald Tucker, Enraged Seahawk of Seattle, Fishy, The Jackal, Mikey T, Max H, Make Bindis Mod, Cobra SS, Sam Mason, and Albie Scory. Thank you guys so much for keeping the lights and mics on and the gaming going.
That's right.
The True Game Podcast. Okay, that was a good discussion. I felt like about that. Shall we kick it over to your favorite segment?
Yes.
Correcting Conbrosations.
Let's do it. So look, if you're new around here, we say things on the internet.
Yes, we do.
And we've never let pesky things like facts or information get in the way of strongly held beliefs. So when we say something stupid in this episode, all you have to do is head down to the comment section and say, at 13 minutes and 87 seconds when you said this, it was actually that. And then next week, we will read out your comment, credit you, and see what stupid opinions you have. But our brains are so big and wrinkly, being able to like figure out slashes back to front and reversed in the camera angle, that I don't think, we rarely get any corrections because we're so freaking smart.
We rarely get any corrections. Part of it might be that I keep forgetting to read out some of the comments.
That sounds like good business to me.
Runic Firebird's had enough. He's had enough of it. I'm sorry about this. He's like, wow, I'm getting a little tired of you skipping my corrections every week, Eddie. I know I just call you out and you can't stand it, but people need to know when you're wrong.
My man.
So he's got a correction. He says, correcting Conbrosations, and I'm putting it in all caps because Eddie refuses to look at my comments. Look.
Mate, it's the internet. If you want someone's attention, you hit that caps lock, bruv.
I sometimes skip your comments because really they're just bullshit,
I mean...
I see Runic Firebird and I automatically assume it's going to be shit.
You're like, this is a single IQ take, innit?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, he goes, now that I have your attention for my correction for this week, because I already made a comment under last week, Sheps, you called them Power Ranger Transformers.
Yeah.
They're called
The Zords.
Megazords.
Yeah,
you
I called them
smooth brain pleb. Also, another correction. Eddie is
You little shit.
Eddie, Nintendo is not young. They're the oldest company being around. Did I say they're young?
This is why we need that 13-minute and 87-second timestamp, bruv.
Exactly.
We need to be able to go back and see. Let's rewind the tape.
Been around since the 1800s. I know Nintendo's old.
I swear down. I said I found my White Power Ranger Zord. The Transformer. But there's no timestamp. So I've got the mic. You're a smooth brain, single IQ dick, bruv.
Do you know what it is?
No timestamp. Where's the timestamp? Where's the proof? Where's the proof? You had the tape. Where's the proof?
Your Honor, where's the proof? I have...
Objection hearsay, bruv.
Easy.
He's probably right in it. He's always right about these things.
I was going to say, if he's got both of us and we both are calling into question his correction, got to be wrong, right? Got to be wrong. Surely we're both not wrong.
I feel like when you have two guys, it's like adding negatives, isn't it? You've got a negative IQ, I got a negative IQ. Combined, we're even dumber. Do you know what I mean? It just gets a bigger negative number.
You're
like,
more
I'll
negative.
add these two numbers together. It's worse. You're like, minus 10 plus minus 10 is minus 20. You're like, shit.
You're better off not adding them together.
The idiot in you is like, 20 is a bigger number. That's bad. You're like, no, but it's negative. You're going the wrong way.
Oh, God. Let's read some more comments. Corrections. Corrections from Sean Taylor. He says, not really a correction, but Nate's daughter's name is Cassandra.
That's what we said. From Assassin's Creed. That's what we said.
Exactly, because she's named after his mother. I honestly thought it was Chloe. I don't know where I got Chloe from then. Diogo writes in, he says, correcting Conbrosations at 48 minutes and 10 seconds. That
doesn't sound like a real timestamp to me. Does he mean 39 minutes and 70 seconds?
Could be.
Yeah.
That was mostly definite a good roast, not a correction. Just wanted to read it out. Motherfucker. You roasted Alpha. You was like, you see that little point all the way back there?
Yeah.
That was the roast you got.
That's the point. You missed it. Get roasted.
And Alpha left an engaging comment, as you asked, right there.
I freaking hate this guy.
Brian Ford writes something. This isn't a correction, but he writes in about the Ubisoft topic that we spoke about last week. He goes, on the Ubisoft buyout topic, I will argue one point. The IPs aren't bad. They've just been squandered. I want nothing more than IPs like AC and Far Cry and Splinter Cell to be bought, to be given to a competent company, because these franchises used to be great. The company needs to be razzed.
Raised.
It says razzed, but R-A-Z-E-D.
Raised, bruv.
But raise isn't R-A-I-S-E-D?
There's two raises.
Is this the American way?
No, it's a different raise. It means burnt to the ground.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that word existed. Honestly, seriously, I'm that dumb. That's what it is. But I would like to see some ideas given to someone else. Although I
love how I'm giving you shit for not knowing a word. I'm like, if I was reading the comments, I would have fucked it up as well.
But like, man, that's a weird word. Don't know why I use that.
I've never seen that word.
Although I agree that it has to be done the way that it doesn't benefit the shitheads like Yves, but I don't know the solution there. P.S. I typed this in an earlier episode. Now you're reading comments, and a lot of the bros shared my sentiment, but I'll leave this here anyway. Lol.
Well, Brian, you get the full credit. Frick those other bros.
Full credit. Fuck them. No one cares about them, all right? Thanks very much. That's a really good point. And actually, seeing as we're on the topic of Ubisoft...
Okay, I'm glad we're going to cover this, yeah.
Let's talk about this now. So, an update from the news that we got last week, in case you missed it. Ubisoft apparently are quietly shopping around their company because they realize they can't make games.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Now, instead of them being bought out by someone else and Yves still being in the loop for the Ubisoft company, because it is a family company end of the day, apparently the update is that the Guillemot family is looking to partner with an investment company, a private equity company, so they can still keep the Ubisoft name within the Guillemot family, but be sold and somebody else maybe taking a more creative lead on everything.
Which is ironic because it was the Guillemots we wanted out of Ubisoft.
Yeah, that was the part we was looking to... At least if Yves was going to get a big payout, the part that we were looking forward to was the removal of the Guillemot part. Right.
And that doesn't mean that Ubi would turn around overnight. Or even end up as a good place. But the leadership that has driven it into the ground, let me rephrase that, has driven its product into the ground and allowed such an incredibly toxic workplace to exist, getting rid of that certainly couldn't hurt.
And that's what's happening right now. There was a bit of hope when we heard that maybe they were going to be sold. Maybe somebody was going to buy them. Right. And then we just got it squandered. The one bit of hope that we had got squandered right there. The problem is that I don't understand what the deal is though, because if it was supposed to be that they're quietly shopping the company around so they can sell it, it made it sound like they were like, all right, we're done. We clearly can't do games anymore. Yeah. Every game that we've done seems to be going.
It's not worth it, or we're making less and less money. We don't want to
have
this profitable business end up costing us money in the future.
Right, our games are only really loved by games journalists so they can tweet about how much they like AC Valhalla, but then all the people that are buying our games, they're far and few between now.
If they actually play our games, they realize that they're crap.
Exactly. But then they want to keep the company within the family. It makes it sound like, okay, so what are you trying to do exactly? And I think what it is that they're doing the same thing. They're realizing the same situation is happening. What happened back in, 2013 when Vivendi was going to overtake them? I think what it is that they see that their stock prices have dropped so far, and they're open up to attack. Somebody could come along and buy them, and the reason why they were shopping around, they were actually shopping around so someone can partner with them to protect themselves, so they don't get bought out.
Yeah, because
it's not as good as we first thought it was.
For legal reasons, this is a joke because I am worried about Ubi's legal team, not Amber Heard's. Hypothetically, if you'd run this family business for so long and allowed it to be so toxic, and your kids all work there, and you see the quality of their work, and you realise my children are spoiled rich kids and can't function in the real world. Again, this is for comedic purposes only. You may not want to get bought out or sell the company because you realise your family, who you built this empire for, can't freaking function outside of it.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, for comedic purposes. So maybe it's that. However, get fucked.
Yeah.
Go away. Either make good games and everybody will forget about all the atrocious, disgusting things your company has done because for some reason that's what people like to forget stuff.
Yeah.
Or just fuck off entirely. I'm not even going to censor it. I'm not going to say frick because Eves pisses me off that much.
Yeah.
Dickhead.
It was kind of hopeful in the beginning that we was going to get some sort of change when it came to Ubisoft, but this rumor, this report seems to suggest that actually it's just them trying to protect themselves to ensure that Ubisoft stays in their hands.
Yeah, because like I said, they're with the stock price that low, there's a bunch of ways that they could be acquired. Either they're in financial straits because the companies have costs,
Yeah.
And so it's sometimes it might be like dissolve the company or take the money, or with a low enough stock price, somebody can come in and buy enough shares.
Yeah.
That's what, if you don't know, that's a hostile takeover. You buy enough shares, you get a controlling interest, right?
Yep.
That's what Elon did, and now he owns it.
Yeah.
Functionally, that's not exactly a hostile takeover, but same sort of deal. So it can be done. So I just think it's so perfect that where they run to is the other bad guys. It's banks and like investment firms and hedgies and stuff, like hedge funds, people causing financial crises.
That's how desperate they are now, isn't it? That's how desperate they are.
Like that's who you turn to. Like it you couldn't have made it up in it.
Oh boy. Do you mind if I move on to the next topic?
Let's do it, bruv.
Okay. Microsoft have scheduled a 90-minute Bethesda and Microsoft showcase that will be happening on June 12th this year, right around the time that would have happened for E3. Now that E3's not there. No information about as to what they're going to show. They haven't said anything, but they're going to talk about upcoming releases, which is everything that they always do ever. It's completely understandable. But the picture does say Xbox and Bethesda, and it's got like a starry background. It's got a field of stars.
Yes, it does.
Wink, wink.
Yeah. Oh, you shouldn't have said it. You should have made the frickin' audio virgins come here to watch the video. Like, what is this dead air? Well,
I didn't say wink, wink.
They didn't get their fill of dead air at the beginning, so they should have.
I robbed them of it.
That's it.
Well, the audio virgins, fuck them.
Get fricked.
So yeah, that's happening, and I wanted to have a little discussion with you because I am actually excited because prior years,
it gives us something to do.
One, it gives us something to do and gives us something to react to, and it's all fun like that. But others, because previous years, I knew they were going to be nothing.
Obviously.
Because they purchase studios, it takes time to get games off of the ground. And it was always going to be CG trailers and a bunch of nothings and whatnot. And that's what we got for many, many years. I was not excited.
Third parties that have exclusive deals, because then they can say exclusive and legally it does function.
Exclusive.
Yeah.
But this year, there has to be gameplay of something substantial.
If there isn't, I'm going to say, if there is not 10 full, like a Horizon level, 10 full minutes of like not just CG trailers, but gameplay of Starfield, it's not coming this year. And I suspect, I don't know why I feel this way, because I wouldn't have said this for any other game, but I think if we don't see gameplay of it, I would reasonably infer that the game's not good. And the reason I say that is because if they're not willing to show the game at this point and so close to its supposed release date, that they've got gameplay and it just doesn't. It's not good.
That's what it would imply, right?
That's what I would take from it. Now, we are biased. I am biased, at least at the minute, to be anti-Xbox and pro PlayStation. Not because I care about the companies, but because one is serving me and one is not.
Yes.
We've got to see it.
Yeah.
And more than a CG trailer, I want to see gameplay. And I don't care what you AC fanboys have to say, James, when I say that's not a gameplay trailer, even if it was rendered in-game. Like, you know, the AC trailer, I was like, that's not gameplay. And they all beef me out. No, it's not gameplay. You're idiots.
We need to see gameplay.
Right, I need to see someone play the game.
Yes.
You know, I need to see it. Like we do for Horizon. I think Horizon, Guerrilla have done their trailers for it staggered way too close near the release. But prior to it, like sort of that 6 year away, that's how you do it. It's about 15 minutes long. Show me some promo material, then show me 10 minutes of someone playing the freaking game, and you know, we've got to see it. Or I'm gonna be very genuinely worried that Starfield's DOA, dead on arrival. DEED. Right, I said doubly there. Doesn't matter, dead. Hell, it doesn't matter how I spell it because the game's dead.
Let's talk about a couple of games and let me get your feeling whether or not you think it'll be here. Cool. First of all, Starfield. Do you genuinely think we'll see Starfield? And do you think we'll see gameplay?
Do I think we will? No.
Really?
I really don't think. I don't think they have it.
Ooh.
Do I want to see it? Yes. Do I hope it's good? Yes. I genuinely believe they don't have it.
I think we do, because I can't imagine a world where Xbox would even recover from the ridicule. Actually, the media
They're
wouldn't.
Xbox, nothing rolls off their back.
Let me rephrase that, because I'm going to put another thing out there. The media will not let Starfield fail. If Starfield is a mediocre game, it will be flaunted as the best game.
It just has to not be Cyberpunk.
Yeah, it just has to not be Cyberpunk, and it'll be the like
the must-play game of the year.
Did it with Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite turned out to be a okay game, but it was flaunted at launch as the best. It was amazing. Oh my god, it was fantastic.
Can you
and look where Halo
this?
Infinite is now. So the same thing will happen with Starfield, but I believe it will. They will show it, and I believe we will see gameplay.
Do you think it will be what I'm calling for? It doesn't have to be exactly, but like what we get for Horizon. It's like a minute of CG, here's the game, and then 10 minutes-ish of someone playing it. Showing us some gameplay, real gameplay. Or because if it's like 15 seconds of someone like running around shooting a gun and then getting in their ship, that's not enough. That's not gameplay.
See, the thing is that because this is the first essential showing of it, like those CG
but
trailers
it comes out this year.
Those CG trailers didn't mean anything, right?
Yes, I agree.
I think they can get away with.
I agree with you.
Showing like one of those things where like your character's running in a direction, but the camera's like revolving around. But that's not really gameplay.
Cuts to different maps. And stuff.
Like the camera doesn't actually move like that in the game, but they're doing it and it cuts to different locations and it shows grandness of it. I think they can get away with that, but
it comes out in like 6 months.
Exactly, and by the time it comes to June, it's like, okay, you're 4 months away now. You can't do this.
You can't do it.
But I do think we actually see gameplay, and I do think
I want it to be good. For the record, I genuinely want it to be really good.
There was a little leak that happened. I don't know if you saw this.
I haven't seen it.
Apparently, a ex-Bethesda employee, which
I did see this,
has been confirmed to actually be an ex-Bethesda employee. I don't know how they confirmed it, but even Jason Schreier confirmed that he is legit.
Cool.
And I was like, he apparently said that the game is. It's good looking, but not good looking enough to compare to Horizon Forbidden West.
That's not a fair marker.
I was going to say, and also Bethesda games have never looked great.
You can't compare it to one of the best looking games of all time.
Right.
Oh no!
Exactly.
No one will play Minecraft then.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And like I said, Bethesda games have never looked good. No one's ever said, "Wow, that's a stunning looking game."
Right.
It's Bethesda, right?
Yeah. Fair enough. I'm not worried about that.
But they did say. One, the flying mechanics aren't very good.
Did I misunderstand? Genuine question, and I'm sorry to cut you off. Is that not a major part of the game?
Especially for a space game, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, maybe like.
Well, we don't know actually.
Yeah,
to be
we don't.
fair.
Okay, we
To
don't
be
know.
fair.
Cool. Because I didn't. I'm genuinely not.
We're assuming because it's set in the vastness of space. Is space travel going to be a big thing?
For example, you don't really fly anything in Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Or Halo. For maybe Halo, but like Mass Effect, you don't really fly anything. So like, if it's a minor thing, okay, it's like swimming in The Witcher. It was garbage, but like you don't spend a lot of time underwater.
Yeah. It could be that. We don't know.
Cool.
But that's
so
one thing.
I'm really trying to be fair here. I really want.
And then one thing he did say was that the engine is garbage. Can't really get any way around that if it's true.
Yeah.
The engine is a core part of the game. If it's garbage, then it means that subsequent things built on top of it is going to be shaky and garbage. He says the rest of it is in pretty good shape. The rest of it is in pretty good shape. He says that maybe they might not finish it in time because their scope is so big. But if they were to cut content, it wouldn't seem like the game's incomplete because it's so big and so
I'd
grand.
rather do that and release it as like free DLC.
Yeah.
And all you're doing is just hitting a code to open up an area in it. Open this door. Yeah.
And that was part of the question. Was like, will it be delayed? Because people were like, we haven't seen any gameplay.
I think that
will it
would be
delayed?
really bad.
That's the thing. They say he thinks they would rather cut the content and bring it on that day rather than delay it. And
just
go
to be
further.
clear, they're not going to pull like an Anthem here, and where it's like very clear that you can go somewhere, but there's an invisible wall. They're not going to do that.
Hey, anything's possible. But it's Bethesda. I think they're a little bit better than. Then again, it was BioWare that did that, right?
Yeah, BioWare had pretty good pedigree up until that point.
You know what? In a world post-Cyberpunk, anything's possible.
Yeah, it's true. Here's the thing. The most damning thing I got to say is the engine.
Yeah.
Doesn't look as good as Horizon. It's Bethesda. I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
And Horizon's one of the best looking games of all time so far. Like, okay, don't care, non-point. Flying's not very good. In my head, that seems like a major point, but to be genuinely honest, we don't. It's part of a problem, but it's also part of a saving grace here. We don't know anything about the game.
Yeah.
So we have no idea how important flying is to it.
Yeah.
Could be a very minor part of the game. Fine. But man, if that engine, like, if the foundation sucks, God damn it. Well, I mean, it's frustrating. I genuinely want it to be good because I love sci-fi. And we haven't had anything really that scratches my sci-fi itch for a while. And I don't care if it's an Xbox win. They freaking need one.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with it. And to be clear, when I've always said I want a strong Xbox, what I mean is I want strong Xbox games.
Yeah.
Not Xbox buying up every freaking company.
Yeah. Final point on this one. You don't think it's going to be shown?
No.
I think it will be. The next game.
Yeah. Oh no.
Fable.
I'm genuinely scared. I don't want to talk about Fable.
Do you think we see Fable?
I don't want to talk about Fable. I don't want to talk about Fable. No, I don't.
Yeah.
Because I don't trust any of them there to figure out a timeline. And like Halo Infinite, prior to its release, should have been one of the biggest games pretty much of all time. Certainly in recent Xbox memory. And we only started seeing stuff for that the year of. Like within 14 months of it. It was last January, I want to say.
We saw
where they said, oh, it's an old build. That was March.
Wait a minute, of what?
Halo Infinite.
Oh, Halo Infinite, yeah. Yeah, it was like January we saw the old build thing, I think it was. I think it was January, yeah.
So call it, that's about a year, roughly, before the game came out.
Yeah.
And so Fable, I don't think Fable was reasonably coming out before 2023. Meaning 24 at the earliest. Realistically. I will say, I accepted that Halo was dead when I played Halo 4 and 343 took over. I knew that was the case and I made my peace with it. I said goodbye. I'm not willing. I'm not. I really don't. If you're going to show Fable, it's got to be Fable.
Yeah.
I'm angry already because I'm worried. So do you think we're going to see... I think we could probably see a CG thing. And maybe a longer format teaser.
I think we...
So
the problem
you
is
don't have any investment in Fable.
I
Either,
don't have any
you?
investment in Fable, but I do have an investment in Xbox doing good. I want them to do
Yeah.
good because it does, like we said, PlayStation is being led by a lot of Xbox decisions, so
Yeah.
we'd like them to feel the heat.
Well, if Xbox starts making good decisions, it might lead PlayStation.
Maybe, right?
PlayStation, what are you doing? How are you being led around by these guys?
It's like you're waiting for someone to do something good and then you can do something good. What the fuck's wrong with you?
Stupid idiots.
The only thing I'm thinking about is the next game that we're going to talk about, and it's Elder Scrolls 6.
Oh yeah.
Now, in terms of announcement,
yeah,
Fable was announced with that teaser or the frog and whatever the fucking thing was. 2020. Elder Scrolls 6 was announced back in 2018.
yeah, it feels like a Cyberpunk again.
4 fucking years ago.
We waited 9 for Cyberpunk.
Right? So, I mean...
That's got to be ready.
So I'm like, if Fable is shown off, then that has to be... Elder Scrolls has to be shown. It's okay. I think you might have just tapped the microphone.
Weird. That's the one with nerve damage. I have no idea. I don't know if that was me or if it's something broke. I thought a spring let go or something in there. I was like, what the hell happened?
So like, if I say Fable is coming out or is going to be shown, then I have to go by my own logic that Elder Scrolls is going to be shown as well. But the problem is, I don't think Elder Scrolls is anywhere near being shown ready. So then I have to say,
seen something.
Exactly. So I have to say,
unless they're going to ghost drop, not exactly ghost drop. But you remember Apex Legends?
Yeah.
They were just like, Respawn's working on a project, and then they were like, yeah, here it is. But like they just released it.
I don't think Xbox have the cachet anymore.
Unless they're going to go like. Because there's a PlayStation glut at the minute. There's nothing coming out until next year. Maybe even 24.
Well, we've got God of War Ragnarok, and then after that,
we
don't know.
Date actually on it though.
It's true, and also that's the thing that we should talk about later on as well. Is that PlayStation don't have anything really announced after that.
There is a dead zone.
A ton of rumors, but no.
Okay, this could be a really smart Xbox play if they have a good idea of when Ragnarok's coming out, which they might well do. Between Ragnarok and the next game, it's probably at least a year. The next real big game.
Yeah.
That is a big window for Xbox to like
drop some hitters.
To drop some hitters and to gain some big wins, and so that the discussion they can just feed the Xbox, just scraps. Just like, here, look, PlayStation has nothing to combat you with. So if they time that well and they do have Starfield and it's at least not shit, ideally it would be good. And they have Elder Scrolls. I was going to say Elden Ring then for some reason.
Elden Rings.
Yeah, if they had Elder Scrolls 6 ready in that gap, and then maybe between that, Fable comes out, or maybe it goes like Elder Scrolls 6 PlayStation game, Fable. That could be a really good strategy. Really good for like release dates. Which, by the way, Guerrilla, pay some frickin' attention. Don't go next to Breath of the Wild. Don't go next to Elden Ring.
And Witcher 4, when it comes out, don't put it next to that. I can see already that you're going to do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I was going to say, I was speaking with Zacchino in my DMs, and I was saying that God of War Ragnarok hasn't shown off any gameplay.
Yes, correct. Any additional,
I don't get any feeling that they're like behind. Personally,
I actually agree with you. I don't feel worried. I just feel like they have a bad pacing for it.
Yeah. But I think what it is that because PlayStation was rumored to have given a pitch to get the timed exclusivity at least for Starfield. So they might have liked what they saw on paper for this game.
Okay.
So maybe they're holding it in the chamber for when Microsoft show off Starfield gameplay, and then they show off their biggest gun that they've got, God of War Ragnarok. And then maybe the release date as well comes out sort of close-ish to Starfield, which I think is a bad idea.
Do you know what, though?
But that could be their play.
That would be a very interesting Sony finally taking the lead, which is if they go, we're going to wait for Starfield and release God of War then, because we know, assuming you're Sony and you have some information, if you are reasonably confident that Starfield ain't all that, and reasonably confident that Ragnarok is similar to 2018 or better, you just kill shot. That's turning the gun sideways, isn't it? That's releasing God of War next to Starfield and letting Starfield burn out and God of War just steamroller it, Will they do that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, I want Starfield to actually be good. I think it's about time.
If they were to be separate and they were both to thrive, it's much better situation than one killing the other.
I agree.
What the fuck is the point?
Because I think there's scope for everybody to win here, which is Ragnarok can be amazing, and so can Starfield. They don't butt heads, and then Microsoft can release Elder Scrolls 6 and start teasing for Fable in between. So like, the Microsoft stuff can happen in between, like Ragnarok, and then between what's that coming next year? What is it? Is it another? I can't remember what's on the docket for. They've got big hitters. I can't remember. It doesn't matter.
Coming from PlayStation.
Yeah.
Not that it's that thing. I don't think.
No, it's 24 is the dead year, isn't it? And then it's 25. No, wait, what year are we in? 22. 23 is the dead year. 24 and 25 are the.
Oh, sorry. My apologies. Spider-Man 2 is releasing apparently 2023. We don't know.
Although that's Insomniac, so I wouldn't doubt that.
Yeah.
So like, if you were Microsoft, you could go Starfield, wait for God of War, Elder Scrolls 6, wait for Spider-Man, Fable. And that would be a really good pacing.
That would, but I don't think these games are anywhere near close.
Way.
They're like 2024, 2025 games
games
for
I
sure.
agree with you.
Anyway, back to what we were saying.
Yeah.
So, Fable, do you think we'll see at this event?
No.
I don't
Let me
think so
rephrase
either.
that. Cinematic, trailer, teaser, maybe. But you're not seeing any gameplay.
Cool.
If you do, I'll shit the bed. I'll do an Amber Heard. Oh my god, it's Fable! I'm buying Xbox! I nearly bought it. I'm so glad I didn't because of Infinite. Because I was hyped for it. I was really hyped for it.
That would have been a disappointment as a Halo fan.
Well, I would have got out the thermite again.
Let's talk about it then. Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah.
Do we see that after 4 years? Do we see something from Elder Scrolls 6 at this event?
I hate to be that guy. I don't trust them at all to have done it. No. I don't. I want to. I want them to. Also, now's the time to do it because it's right where E3 would be. They've just acquired Bethesda. Like, now's the time to say whether or not it's going exclusive, for one. You know?
Yeah.
Some pretty major announcements, some pretty major, like, draws. And I honestly don't trust Bethesda to have a viable model where they're not going to go, but this is an old build. Like, you saw how that worked for 343, bruv.
That might be something that actually, the exclusivity thing might be something, the reason why they don't want to say it around Starfield. Starfield, we know, is an exclusive. It's done set in stone. We know everyone's cool with it. We're done.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Aaron Greenberg. We don't care. It's okay. I'm sorry.
Agreed, yeah. They're allowed to have exclusive games. Go away. We've
fine.
got plenty. It's okay. It's not like you're starving.
Right. It's not. And everyone's cool. Everyone's cool.
Yeah.
Just don't
All good.
get out of your mind that we're not. If they release the gameplay and it's good and the conversation's going and there's hype going, if you then release a Elder Scrolls 6 trailer and then you drop the bomb that you're taking that away from so many Elder Scrolls fans, that will drown the good news, good stuff that you've got for Starfield. So maybe they hold on to that when they don't say it.
But Phil Spencer did say, when we all play, we all win.
See, that's what will be on Twitter. That's what will be on Twitter. Like, everyone, are you hyped for Starfield? You guys fucking took away our Elder Scrolls when everyone plays, everyone wins. Shut your damn mouth, Phil. No. That's what will happen.
For sure.
So maybe they hold on to that for its own thing. Even though this is a Bethesda and Xbox.
Do you think
event.
they would go full exclusive with Elder Scrolls? I think 3-month exclusive. Because I think they need the sales and they know there's so many more PlayStations, PS4 and 5s out there than Xboxes is. But I think there's a big kind of painful exclusivity deal. The only downside to that is I would only do... Here's the thing. I would only make it exclusive if I knew Elder Scrolls 6 banged. Because if it's mediocre, you've got to release it on both consoles straight away to capture as many sales as possible. Right?
Yeah, I'm in two minds because the anniversary edition was on both PlayStation 4 and 5, whatever it was, something like that.
Yeah, but that was
it was an older one,
Yeah.
so they just redid it and then sold it again. It was just more money, and it was probably in development for a while. So, but they could have easily cancelled that if they wanted to.
I guess my point is, if Elder Scrolls 6 isn't good, then you need to release it on both consoles straight away. if it is good, that'll be my. I think that's my prediction. If they make it somewhat exclusive or exclusive, it's probably pretty good. That would be my guess. Otherwise, they will open it up immediately to PlayStation.
I don't know. I'm thinking more of it as like how they've acted so far, and I felt like with Starfield they said it straight away that it's going to be exclusive.
Fair enough, though.
With the Activision deal, granted they were forced into making this decision. They probably didn't want to do that. They said Call of Duty will remain on PlayStation as well. With this one, they've just stayed ambiguous.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
maybe they haven't decided.
Maybe.
Maybe they really genuinely don't know. They need to see how like Starfield's received.
It will be a shitstorm if they make it exclusive.
I bet. Depending on how well Starfield is received, so they do show Starfield. Depending on how well it's received, and in between like the intermission and the other junk they throw in between, those first like 10-15 minutes on Twitter, if it's fire, they're like, okay, tell them Elden Ring is exclusive. There's someone waiting there. There's 2 envelopes, like a red and a green. Red, oh no, Elden Ring is come. Elder Scrolls come to everybody. Green, Elder Scrolls is Xbox exclusive.
I'm not too excited for this personally, but I know people are. The Perfect Dark reboot that's being worked on by the Initiative and Crystal Dynamics.
Yeah.
We haven't heard really much of it other than it's going and it's supposed to be the best thing since sliced bread and whatnot.
Okay.
I honestly think we don't see any more of this.
I agree.
I think they've just joined with Crystal Dynamics and I think things are still finding their feet. So
Yeah,
I think
but also
we don't see
Crystal
anything
Dynamics
from
aren't coming hot off the back of a big win. You know, in fact, it's quite a fat L. So
we made Marvel's Avengers, guys. Come on.
Crickets. One guy like, yeah, Marvel's Avengers. You know, so I think you're right.
Yeah. Redfall. Do you remember Redfall at all?
I remember the name. I'm sure I'd remember it if I saw it.
It's like all we got was a CG trailer. It was like to do with vampires. It was like a 4-player co-op multiplayer vampire hunt thing.
Yeah.
I didn't personally find it so interesting. It doesn't look like my kind of thing. But that was shown off, and apparently it's releasing this summer, and we still haven't seen gameplay of it.
What's going on? It used to not be this way, right?
It used to not be this way. I understand showing things too soon, but there's such a thing as showing things too late.
I've seen there's quite a hot chick with an afro, so it's a game of the year, bruv.
Game of the year, boys.
What can I say? It's just, yep, they know their target audience. If the target audience is me.
I guarantee you we'll see the next Forza Motorsport game.
Hells yeah. I mean,
every year we have to get our Forza
everybody
game.
Needs a release every single year,
everyone
right?
cares about brum brum games as well, right?
Cargo bro.
Cargo's brum 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 brum. Contraband. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Again, another CG trailer, no fucking gameplay.
I also feel like I don't care.
I don't care when it's just a CG trailer.
Yes.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
People, you got to understand that Microsoft, you just announcing it for the sake of announcing it when you have nothing to show means nothing to me.
Also, I feel like we were even saying this to a much lesser degree, in fairness, but for like that Wolverine trailer, we were like super hyped because it's Wolverine and it's going to Insomniac, and then we even said like, but okay, well we have a good idea of what Insomniac makes, but I need to see something from this game.
Yeah, that's the thing that people used to say as a counterpoint to when we say, you haven't seen anything of Starfield, how can you be so excited for it? They're like, well, you haven't seen anything from Wolverine. It's like, we're not excited for the game. We're excited that one of the coolest characters in comic book history is getting a game.
Or
that's what we're excited for.
Well, you haven't seen anything from Spider-Man 2, but, bruv, we saw PS4 and Miles Morales. It's their titular game. We know what we're getting. It's Spider-Man. Like, we know it's all dubs. They could mess it up, but on paper, it's all dubs.
Exactly. So dumb. Let's see. Is there anything else that we could
Nothing
possibly...
stands out to me. I feel like we'd be like, oh, man, we got to talk about insert game title, and I just don't have anything.
There's only one thing that I want to ask if you think is a possibility.
Okay.
Do you think granted, it says Xbox and Bethesda, so... I don't know if they're trying to imply that Bethesda is so big and such a catchy name that they're adding it to the Xbox branding so they can bring in more people, or if this is going to be, this is Xbox, but really we're talking about Bethesda games here today.
I think it's probably a kind of a mix of the two. I think it's probably 70-30 Bethesda to Xbox in general, because I think they're gonna use the fact that Xbox owns Bethesda to pad out in between the announcements with other Xbox trash, basically. Not to put too fine a point on it, but just stuff that no one really cares about that they want to showcase because they've got attention. And that'll just be general Xbox stuff, and then it'll be like big Bethesda thing, trash, big Bethesda thing, trash, to get to make those full 45 minutes.
That means that next year, then, if they acquire Activision, it's going to be Xbox Bethesda an acquisition showcase of 2023.
Yeah.
And it's just going to get really long.
Xbox Bethesda, Activision, and Blizzard. Like, oh god, frick.
It just keeps getting longer. Okay, so if it is actually going to be Xbox as well in there, do you think we see finally what the fuck is going on with Xbox and Kojima?
No.
You reckon?
They're not showing shit. Actually, let me rephrase that, because this is a prime slot. You know, it's where E3 would have been.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of their target audience has huge amounts of time off, which is both school kids, you know, and university students and stuff, but also like parents, like guys like us. I'm not a parent, but you, who have taken time off for their kids' summer holidays.
Yeah.
So they have the time to watch it. There's a lot of people off or wanting to be off. You know, so if you're working, you're really looking for that escape right now. You know, so it'd be the prime time to show something. I honestly don't think they've got anything to show, and that is just from previous sort of experience the last few years. Now, I hope I'm wrong. I want to see more good stuff, but also to be clear, when I say they don't have anything to show, I mean gameplay. For most of this stuff, I don't care about CG trailers. Overall, I don't care about CG trailers. It's cool to see stuff like that, but like, I'm not playing a CG trailer. I'm playing a game.
I feel like it's Kojima style to show something of substance if it's something worth it. But the thing is, also,
Kojima shows gameplay.
I don't understand what this project is going to be, because apparently it was supposed to be like an experiment to do with like the cloud technology that they have and whatnot. So I don't even understand what kind of game it is, even if it's a game or what's going on with it. But I like Kojima a lot, so I'm there for that.
Yeah.
If they show it, I'll be very, very excited. I'll be in whatever he's showing. But I do wonder if this is going to be the place for it, because Kojima does demand a lot of attention, and if you're going to show Starfield, which you're running out of time to show Starfield, then is this the time to show the Kojima thing?
Yeah, if you want to get eyeballs on it, you can release like the week before. By the way, Kojima's presenting something, and that is gonna that would do that.
You could do a standalone thing.
Yeah, you could.
One game that I just remembered right now, Avowed.
Oh yeah.
So we only saw again another CG trailer of this one, but this is supposed to be coming out. It says the initial release date was 2022. So when the fuck is this game coming out? But it was initially shown off in 2021 in the Xbox Games Showcase, and it's supposed to be a massive RPG from Obsidian Studios, Obsidian Entertainment.
I'm with you.
That's all we know.
I agree.
I like the idea of a massive RPG from Obsidian.
Right.
But what am I going to be excited for if there's nothing to be excited for? Sorry, I hit your mic there.
No, I'm with you. Like,
do you think we'll see it?
I think we've waited long enough to see something from Avowed, right?
So that's the thing. If Redfall coming out this year, we have to see that if it's coming out this year. Starfield's coming out this year, we have to see something coming out this year. Avowed, if it's coming out this year, we have to see something coming out this year.
I think like a game like Avowed, I totally forgot existed until you mentioned it. So it doesn't have that like permanent spot in people's minds. Like at least Starfield, I was going to say Starfall for some reason. Starfield is in the discussion. People are talking about. People are curious.
Yeah.
I don't hear any conversation about Avowed.
Yeah.
Does not have that like social credit and just people's attention. So if it like, I don't think it's going to survive getting delayed. Let me put it that way. No one's going to be hyped for it unless it gets delayed to a dead spot where there is nothing for 3 months either side of when it comes out. We got to see stuff. We've got to start seeing stuff.
Yeah. Everwild was another one as well that got announced, and I don't know much about it other than the fact that it's being worked on by Rare. There was no release date for this one, but Everwild is something coming out. And also Stalker, which is not a it's a timed exclusive game, but that was a game that got delayed to December, so we should see some of that as well, right? If it's going to come out on Xbox first.
I'm going to say it because I'm just feeling like a bitch. I'm glad that Rare is working on this game that looks to be a competitor with Kenna, and not Banjo-Kazooie.
Right, because nobody
wants Banjo-Kazooie, but here let's like have one of our oldest acquisitions who've done basically nothing since. That's not true. Make basically a Kenna thing. Like, I gotta say, it looks good though. I like the look of it.
Yeah,
but like, I think Banjo would bang so much harder.
All right, bro. Should we get on to some of these other topics then?
Yeah, buddy.
Okay. It says 4 comments. Here we go.
It does look good.
All right, let's move on to our next topic. Embracer Group has entered into an agreement to acquire Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, Square Enix Montreal, and a catalogue of IPs that include Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, Thief, Legacy of Kain, and more. Basically the western side of Square Enix. Out of nowhere, for $300 million.
That feels super cheap.
Right?
Right?
Even for just Tomb Raider, the IP, $300 million.
What was Tomb Raider's last game? Tomb Raider.
It didn't do well. I think it was Rise of the
2018?
Shadow. No, something of the Shadow.
God damn it! Shadow of the Tomb.
Yeah, that
PS4,
was it. That was it.
Shadow of the Tomb PS4 sales.
Apparently, it didn't do very good.
I definitely feel like that is a solvable problem.
Yeah.
Because the IP commands enough attention.
And as well, the one before that was Shadow of the Tomb Raider. That one I remember being very good. So you make one dud and that's it. You're going to sell everything.
I gotta say though, what else who's Embracer?
Embracer Group is a company that owns THQ Nordic and another one. They're like a bigger company. Like they own a lot of studios.
Yeah.
A lot. It's like 150 studios.
It's one of those companies that is like Alphabet. Alphabet owns Google. If you didn't know, like It's not Google, it's Alphabet. Exactly. So it's one of those. I knew I was like I couldn't place them for some reason. Look, man. Square Enix just doesn't seem to care about anything that's in a JRPG.
That's the thing, and that's actually where this all stems from. They came out with a statement saying that they believe Japanese studios should make Japanese games, as they don't fully understand Western games. So Western studios should continue to make their own ones, and then we should continue to make our own.
It's true. Western studios could never make a good, I don't know, let's say a Japanese samurai game, hypothetically.
Never. And Japanese studios have never made a good Western game as well.
True fact.
Never. It's never been done. But because Square Enix said it, therefore it's true.
That's right.
And after that, they come out with this, that they've sold themselves or half of themselves to that. I understand they made a massive loss on a Marvel's Avengers. I understand they made a massive loss on that. And I understand this last Tomb Raider game didn't pop for them.
Yeah.
And I understand that Final Fantasy VII Remake really popped for them. And all of the other Final Fantasy games and the other games that they make over there at Square on the Japanese side really are popping. But to sell those IPs and all of those studios for $300 million...
I know. That is just a get out of my sight. Yeah.
Like, you didn't even make any money on that. Like, what the fuck was the point?
It's bizarre. Also, I love the idea. It's very, man, it feels kind of racist, to be honest, for them to be like, oh, we obviously don't understand how to make Western games. No, you made a couple of shit ones. In particular, Marvel's Avengers, right? There were some bad decisions made along the way, but you've shown, like, you know how to do this. You just don't want to, you know?
Do you want to hear what makes this worse?
I was going to do my really racist Japanese... it's not racist, but it's a very stereotypical accent. But I'm not going to do it because you don't deserve it, Square Enix.
It's comedy. I think it's okay to do it whenever the comedy's about. So do you want to hear the reason, apparently, why they did sell it for $300 million?
I feel that's so much. That's so little. It's not so little, but I'm looking at it like... Man, if I'd have known before, I might have been able to arrange something.
Right? Surely we can scrounge together some $300 million. So in the purpose of their transaction, they say Square Enix says the transaction enables the launch of new businesses by moving forward with investments in fields including blockchain, aka NFTs,
yeah.
AI, and the cloud. They sold Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, all those other IPs, Crystal Dynamics. They sold Eidos Montreal that just made Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh yeah. That's right.
They sold all of that so they could invest $300 million in NFTs.
Yeah, pretty much. That's yeah. Weird, isn't it?
Fucking hell.
It's just the funny thing.
It was a dumb idea to go, I'm selling all of this for $300 million in the first place. And then what that money is going to go to, it's like extra dumb.
The worst thing as well is that these sort of businesses take a long time to make decisions, right?
Yeah.
So maybe when this decision was being planned,
Yeah.
like a year ago, the NFT market was hot.
Oh yeah, it's not good now. It's like gone down.
Like 95% since December or something. It's doing a crypto thing because, no one knows how this stuff works. And I do genuinely think there's space for value-based NFTs that benefits both gamers and the company.
Yeah.
Now, I've said this pitch before about like skins, where if you got a super rare skin, now it's actually worth something if the market's there. You can sell it. You don't have to go to some shady CSGO gambling site to sell your skins. You can sell it for real money. The company gets a cut of it. And maybe it comes with something. Like, I don't know what, but like...
I've always said the used game thing is my thing. It's like...
Yeah, I think that's a great idea as well.
Being able to sell your games and it has this ID attached to it that just can't be faked.
Right. And then, like, if you've got a digital game... This is the thing, like, digital sales, you get it once, right? You get the sale once.
Yeah.
But let's say I download Elden Ring digitally, and then I do decide that I want to sell it. Even if the price goes down, so it was 70 and it's now 35, let's say, but you still get a cut of that game that you could only have sold the once.
Yeah.
Like, you're still getting a cut. It makes a lot of sense, and it adds value to us, because now my digital games aren't not stuck, because I value being able to have them whenever I want, but like, if it's a game that I didn't like, or never intend to play again, I can get rid of it and make something back on it. It seems doable, but it is very funny that like they sell off these great IPs and studios that have had some wins. Like you said, Guardians of the Galaxy, bit of a shadow win because it came out at a very bizarre time, and also people mistook it, myself included, for another Marvel Guardians
Marvel's Avengers, very poorly marketed.
Right. And of the two last Tomb Raider games, one was a banger, one was a flop, so you're like sort of flat there. And they're these iconic brands, and you're selling it so you can get into NFTs now.
Such a weird thing to do.
Weird, odd. Also, here's one: gamer tags.
Yeah.
Like, if you come up with a sick gamer tag, like imagine just hypothetically, imagine you got Ninja on the Sony ecosystem, and Ninja comes to you and he's like, "Yo, I want Ninja." Cool, I can sell it to you, and Sony will get a cut as well. I can say, because it's an NFT, I can sell it to you. Give me a price. Then he arranges something ridiculous, whatever his brand's worth to him.
$95 million.
Probably not that much. Maybe only 92. But like,
no, it has to be pictures of monkeys. That's what it has to be.
That's good. Did you see Elon Musk? Sorry, just to do NFT talk for a second. He took one of the like premiere things, made it his profile pic, and then tweeted out, "I don't know, man, seems pretty fungible to me."
What does fungible mean?
It's what the F in non-fungible token. It means that it can't be like copied or faked or anything.
Okay, all right.
Because it's it's like with art, they're like, you can make a forgery, but you're backed on the blockchain. It's the real one.
Yeah.
But the problem is, it's a JPEG.
It's a JPEG, so pretty fungible to me.
Right, like the Mona Lisa, pretty fungible. I can print out. By the way, the Mona Lisa is very disappointing in real life.
I hear that, yeah.
Yeah, it's about this big.
And she's got like a moustache and stuff like that.
Once I was there with my Sharpie. But like, I just thought it was funny. He was like, "No, seems pretty fungible to me."
That must have really hurt the NFT market, right?
The funny thing is, I think one of the big places was like, "Hey, Elon, do you want to tweet us? We could like get you that thing. We'll just give it to you or whatever, and you have all the documents for it. And it's like, no, the whole point was that he's already got it.
I've got it.
It's
right
a JPEG. Yeah, he's already got it. Anyway, off of NFT talk, very weird. Personally, I think they were worth keeping, and at that price point, because it's not like it's strange. Because I was thinking, we were thinking maybe Sony would purchase Square Enix.
Yeah.
But their price tag hasn't dropped too much based on what they sold it for. But I would say their value has dropped
That's
not
the
substantially, but like noticeably now.
If someone was to they were doing like an assessment, which they do, by the way, companies are always doing assessments of other people for potential purchases or whatever, all the time. Any good company, anyway. If there was a company, a guy in Sony right now going, what are the chances of us buying that? We estimate them to be around $4.6 billion, blah, 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 blah. They're like, they just sold all of these IPs. They're looking like 1-2 billion now. And it's like, whatever, but they sold it for 300 million. Yeah, but we value that they lost a ton of money in this. The potential's gone way down.
If Square's valuation was 6, they're not now 5.7 billion.
Yeah.
They're much closer to 5 than they were to 6 now, I would say. Because
I'd say they're like 4.
The forecasting is, it's not just what do they have and how well is what they've just done doing. It's what's coming up. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I'll be looking out for that.
Yeah.
Any other Tomb Raider, of course I'm going to look out for it, as long as she's got the correct,
Triangle today's.
I'm trying to think of triangle words. Acute. Is that?
I think that's the cute angle. Yeah.
Equilateral triangle boobies. Give me some equilateral booba. Like, what is the valuation of the next games? What's that likely to be? That's got to factor into a purchase, right? What you expect to make. I think they took more than 300 million of a hit selling this stuff. Yeah, it's weird. It's such a strange, what a weird move.
Let's continue on purchasing and acquisitions and stuff like that. And let's talk about that WB may be selling their gaming studios and interested parties are Xbox, EA, and Sony.
And you obviously, so you can make a freaking Superman game.
I was going to say, I don't give a fuck who does it as long as one of them gives me my goddamn Superman game.
Well, they're basically doing that. You get to play as his dog, bruv.
It's like they're like, Ed, look what we've done. Super Dog.
It feels like they've just come to the these nuts me, and they're like, Ed, but instead of like, we can't say it, it's not professional. Okay. Here, check out this Kryptonian game. Look, pull off the thing. It's a dog, you dick. It's a dog. It's not Clark.
Fucking bastard.
It's not Kal-El. It's a freaking dog.
What do you think about this? What do you think about this? Who do you think should purchase, and do you think this is a good thing?
I think that WB IPs, especially like for the superheroes, are generally being squandered. Anything that isn't Batman, and it's weird. Like as a Batman fan, like we can stop making Batman and games and movies.
We've had a couple. All right. We've had a couple.
Even I'm like, guys.
There are other superheroes.
There are other superheroes, and if we're going to do them, they should all bang. Now, the Arkham games all bang, but not every Batman movie is equal. Like, I'm going to say it, Christian Bale's Batman movies are garbage.
Ooh, here we go.
And that, because they were the best at the time, the best of the lot, we all thought they were good. But they're not good. Once you see Batfleck, once you see the Batman, you realise the quality of those movies, right? We don't.
It was good at the time. Very good at the time.
In fairness, I'm not saying don't make The Batman 2 or a Batman, whatever you're going to call it. And I am saying I would both watch The Batman 2 and The Batfleck. Right? I think there's scope for that. And as much as I love those Arkham games, let's see some other heroes.
Yeah.
Even I want other heroes. So, or give me a cameo. Make a Batman game, but let me play as Green Lantern. Obviously not Superman. No one wants to play as Superman.
Wait, come on.
Or Wonder Woman or something like that. Somebody that's super strong, can fly. Shazam, who's super strong, super fast, has some sort of energy ability.
This is literally what the conversation is in WB. They're like, no one wants to play as Superman.
Right. Also, I think it would be fun to maybe you have a Justice League kind of game, but the game is about getting to the Justice League, not playing as a superhero. And my pitch for Superman, and I've said this before, is I think half of your time as Superman, solidly half of it, needs to be him trying to survive as Clark, not being caught. So like I want to do that thing from Smallville where like sort of like a bamboo strike where you have to hit all the buttons, where like if you fail, that guy coming to tackle you tries to tackle a tank and loses to, you know, a tank. It's Superman, right? Like he's solid, he's unbreakable, and the guy comes at full pelt and just shatters himself. You're discovered. You know? I think those sorts of challenges would be really interesting to sort of play as, and then obviously you get to the end and you get to be Superman. You know, obviously, like the first thing that happened with Unreal Engine, literally the first thing that I can remember, was some people made Superman stuff but no one wants it, bro.
No one wants it. I love that happens every single time. GTA mods, let's make a Superman mod.
No one wants it, and even if they did, it can't be done.
And then it's just like, oh well, let's not do it. Bro, it's all over YouTube. Anyway, I think let's read from some of the guys who wrote into us on Discord. Who was the person that wrote in? Okay, no, was it?
It's no man.
Tailgate. Here we go.
There you go.
I personally want to see these studios stay under WB because I don't want there to be a monopoly when it comes to third-party games. But if I had to choose, I would like PlayStation to buy these. It would have to be if I let me start again. But if I had to choose which I want to be bought,
are you okay?
Which I would want
like
to buy these studios. Here we go. There's a bit of a different. It's a different witch he's written there, but whatever. It would be PlayStation because they would actually do something with these studios and not let them collect dust. Looking at you, Microsoft. He's talking about Rare there. I think these bastards. For me, DC games. I would have personnel's like Jamie Ree's game. He's the modern Blue Beetle. Wow, that's a call out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna know who Blue Beetle is. For those who don't know who he is, he's the modern Blue Beetle, and got a good popularity boost after appearing in the shows Batman, the Brave, and the Bold and the Young, Justice League 2. That's a personal thing right there. If they haven't done Superman, one of the most iconic superheroes ever, it's going to be pretty hard to sell them on a Blue Beetle game.
You say that, but it's not making a Superman game. It's putting their team on making a DC superhero game that isn't Superman.
That's the whole
they'll
MO.
greenlight any project that isn't Superman.
Well, this is the only reason why I would say sell the fucking things to someone else, because then WB just get out from underneath it, then we actually make superheroes that we want.
I do actually
not Batman, because nobody wants Batman.
I see Tailgate's point, but I kind of agree with you in the sense that maybe it means they will and greenlight some games, or at least some freaking cameos that aren't just the same 2 even characters, right? Basically just Batman. Because there's scope for other stuff, and also WB doesn't have the greatest track record when it comes to like diversity type stuff. And me personally, I would like to see a Jon Stewart Green Lantern. I would like to see Cyborg. I would like to see, I know Martian Manhunter's actually a Martian, but of course you know who's got to play him, right? Like, I forget that guy's name. He's so good as well.
Is it Jenny Hendricks?
It's something like that. It's not Jenny. It's something like that. Like, these are your picks. Also, I wouldn't have trusted WB to cast for Kratos, just saying. You know, like, what is his name?
What is his name?
That guy, you know the guy. You should probably have the image in your head, his face, if you can't put a name to it like me, because I'm an idiot. Like, let's get some of these.
Harry Lennox.
That's it.
Hendricks. What the fuck was it? Harry Lennox.
He's so good. Like, I want to see some of these projects. And I think there's... oh my days, I've not been able to clear my throat.
It's tough sometimes.
I think there is a scope for... I think a Cyborg game could be really fun. Really fun. Or like, let's get a Teen Titans game. Like, there's so many good... And no, Alpha, Aquila, not Corbells. No, it's not the same. It's not the same. It's not basically Teen Titans. You know it's not. Are you familiar with Teen Titans particularly?
I'm not, no.
Some cool, like... Teen Titans are mostly famous for being the Teen Titans, but each individually, like Starfire, Raven, they're great. Cyborg's in a lot of Teen Titans stuff. Beast Boy, who's like he's green, but can turn into any animal, but it's also green.
Okay.
Which is weird.
Turns
So,
to a
like,
chimp and he's just green.
green chimp, green tiger, green elephant. So it's quite funny. There's a bunch of cool stuff in there. DC. What's really annoying is DC has some incredible characters, and we get lumped with 15 iterations of Batman, which I love. Batman. He's my favorite. But I don't want to eat only chocolate cake as food. That's not my only option. You know, sometimes I want to branch out. You know, I want a hamburger.
They're like, we're giving you chocolate cake. You love chocolate cake. Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
But not when it's the only thing. I love it because it's extra. It's like the best of the lot, not just the only one. Oh, God.
Alpha Aquila writes into our
Course he
Discord
does.
server, and he says, WB Games division is really diverse, and it'll be interesting to see where it goes. Give us a AAA Superman game. Let's flesh out this Arkhamverse with Rocksteady's dream after the Suicide Squad game. Yes.
Do you know
Yes.
what? I would like to see some villain games.
Yeah.
We don't really play as bad guys a lot.
Fucking hell, right?
Like, there's some incredible villains. Killer Croc, Killer Frost, Mr. Freeze, Poison Ivy,
Yeah.
Bane. Like, you got a lot of choice for and those just off the top of my head, and those are all Batman villains anyway.
Yeah.
Are they Batman villains? I
Most
don't
of
know.
them are. Killer
Most of
Frost, maybe not.
Maybe not. Tons of good ones. What about Lex?
Yeah.
I mean, a Lex Luthor game could
A
be
fucking
fire.
Smallville game. Let's do it, boys.
Let's do it, boys. Where like he flies twice, once because he's having a wet dream, and then right at the very end. That I will say, obviously I haven't watched most of it. I probably haven't seen 90% of it, but that winds me up. Especially because of who it is. Because Tom Welling is so good as Clark Kent. I think Tom Welling is probably the best Clark Kent.
Yeah.
I'm going to say he's the best Clark Kent. Maybe it's either him or Christopher Reeve are the best Clark Kent.
Yeah, Christopher Reeve's.
Very good.
They haven't done a Christopher Reeve version again. I
Yeah.
think because that was a very good take, and it's very of that time as well,
I
like
agree.
80s sort of like
Stay away
bumbling and
from it,
whatnot.
yeah.
And also, he had to kind of. I think he had to kind of be more bumbling because he was so big.
Christopher Reeve's a huge dude.
A huge dude.
Also, people think
If he wasn't, then he'd be like, surely you.
it was a very different time for like how people looked. Go back and find out old there's old footage and old pictures of Christopher Reeve in the gym training for Superman role. He absolutely looks the part. If he was in a modern day movie,
Yeah.
I honestly think you'd struggle to compare him to Henry Cavill. They're
Yeah.
so like dude's amazing. What an incredible pick.
Yeah.
And he's my number 2 for Superman, by the way.
Yeah.
I know Brandon Routh is a lot of people's number 2 pick, but for me it's going Cavill, Reeve, you know, somewhere there very close, then Brandon Routh. Like, anyway, totally besides the point. WB has a lot of scope for a lot of other games, and they are desperate to only make Batman, and even I can't take it.
Yeah, I would. The thing is that, okay, so look, I think realistically the only good scenario is if PlayStation buys them. Because, one, if EA was to buy them, I'd like them to do
God.
that because it would be third party and then everyone can get to enjoy them. But EA don't make good games.
They don't.
They
And
just
there'll
try
be
to fill every.
microtransactions.
Yeah,
It'll
try
just be,
for-
oh, you want to play with the Black Kingdom Come suit or anything like that? Like, oh, you want different costumes? Like, yeah, here you go.
They don't understand what makes a game good. They only just care about how much money they can extract from you when they
Look what
when
they
play
did
the
to
game.
Battlefront 2.
Exactly. And then with Battlefield, one of their like
Oh my
iconic
God.
franchises, what they fucked up with that. If Microsoft gets it, it's purely going to be a game that they go and push onto Game Pass to try and hold over everyone else.
Yeah.
And eventually, like we said, Game Pass is we see it going down a bad route.
Yeah.
We see less funding going into games, and who knows what will turn into what these games will turn into. If PlayStation get them, at least there's a chance. There's a chance that they'll get the treatment that they've given their Marvel games, and it turns into something iconic.
Yes.
It turns into something amazing. There's a chance. Not saying it will, possibility. I feel like that's the only reasonable way to do this.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I've got to say about that. Have you got anything else to say?
No, I think that's it.
We have one final topic.
Okay.
It's a little bit of a meaty one, but I think we can get it done quite quickly.
Okay.
So, PlayStation have announced their PlayStation Plus service is coming out.
Yes.
And they also announced that if you have PlayStation Now, your until your subscription ends, you'll be bumped into the premium tier.
Yeah.
For free, no extra charge, even though
Yeah.
I mean you paid for it, so it's not really
Yeah.
free. But you get bumped into that premium tier when it launches
You get
next month.
converted up to the equivalent of what
Exactly.
it would be. Yeah.
They also said that if you they said also if you have a PlayStation Plus subscription that happens to end after your PlayStation Now subscription, you will still keep premium for as long as your
Yeah.
PlayStation Now subscription. So let me clarify that. I have PlayStation Now and it ends in November, but my PlayStation Plus ends in November 23rd, 2023.
Yeah.
So I have premium until 2023 November. People was like, hey, we can game the system. I have PlayStation Now and it finishes in like 3 or 4 months, whatever it is. I'm going to stack PlayStation Plus subscriptions for the cheapest that I can find. They're like £50, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And for like the next 5 years. And then I get premium for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
As people were about to do that, PlayStation blocked that ability. They blocked the ability for you to be able to redeem PlayStation Plus cards on the PlayStation Plus store.
Yeah.
Immediately, everyone started calling PlayStation out as anti-consumer and started saying that PlayStation is so terrible for doing this, for blocking this exploit.
Well, bruv, I agree, and I also think you're anti-burglar for locking your doors at night.
Exactly. I fucking love it
It's
that the
ridiculous,
whole this is how bad it is,
It's
how
ridiculous.
cool it is to hate on PlayStation.
Yeah.
That people are saying that blocking an exploit that was not intended to be there, that was highlighted after the fact, is somehow anti-consumer. It's like
It's worse. It's worse than that, by the
I
way.
don't put my bank account out and PIN number and security card number out on the internet. Therefore, I'm stealing money from you guys.
It's worse because what they said was, oh, Sony are doing this thing and sort of not taking the hit, but going that extra mile to extend even more value to us for a thing they didn't have to do,
Yeah.
which extends value to us. I'm going to exploit this. They won't let me exploit their goodwill, which didn't have to be there. Anti-consumer. How do you...
Oh my god, it's so dumb.
And to be clear, we
So
constantly say
dumb.
Sony is a soulless, heartless corporation.
Yes.
The reason they extended that goodwill was to keep as many people on it as possible. Ideally, if you're on it for long enough, you become accustomed to it.
To give it that boost, right? To give it
Right.
that, to get a best chance
It's
when
not
it comes out the
just
gate.
because that it seems that Sony's thing is to serve you best, makes them the most money, and that
Yeah.
makes sense to them. Okay. But like, this is ridiculous.
This is literally, they didn't allow you to fully exploit their goodwill, like you just
Yeah.
said. And you're pissed at it and
And
calling
it's corporate
them
goodwill. Like, I'm not saying they're a charity or anything.
exactly,
Yeah.
and you're calling them anti-consumer. The bullshit there.
It is ridiculous.
And the way they compare it as well, they're like, oh, well, Microsoft allows you to buy countless codes for like $1
No,
of
yeah,
Game
they
Pass.
have to literally give it away.
They have to do that.
Yeah, they
Not
have
they
to.
want to, they have to. If they didn't do that, the whole subscription service would crumble overnight.
And they need people on it because as long as someone's on it, on their investor calls, they can tell you the numbers at least aren't going down because they're literally giving it away. Like, and let's pretend,
So
just
dumb.
pretend that isn't the case. Pretend that it's healthy and for some reason they do that.
Yeah.
So what? They're different businesses. Sony, Microsoft Azure servers alone make more than Sony does.
Yeah.
Make more than Microsoft made in 2016. Just the servers alone. They're different companies.
Yeah.
You can't go, like, imagine going to a freaking vegan restaurant and then complaining that they don't have steaks.
Yeah.
Right? Like, well, but the steakhouse down the road does steaks. Okay, they're a different business. Go use that service.
Go use that service. Also, I like how it's like you're saying, oh, Microsoft does this. We're like, yeah, okay. So what you're saying is that PlayStation should also try to lose money. It's like, no, it's a business. You have to make money eventually.
Right.
Anyway, what was really annoying is that they're not blocking the ability for people to pay add their PS Plus. So some people went out and bought physical cards, and that's the big argument that the media is putting. It's like people went out and bought physical cards, and now they can't use it. And I'm like, first of all, they did it with the intention of trying to
Specifically
exploit
to
something.
exploit something,
Exactly.
yeah.
So those people got fucked when they tried to do something wrong. I have zero sympathy for you.
Oh no!
Exactly.
Someone went to prison for breaking into for stealing something.
Right?
Crazy.
Crazy. I'm going to have sympathy for you.
Right.
And then it turns out that PlayStation will reallow it as soon as the new service launches in June, and then your code will still be valid for whatever you purchased.
Yeah.
It will still be PlayStation Plus. It will be the essential tier, which is exactly what it is right now.
Yep.
You will get what you paid for.
Yeah.
You just need to wait a month for the service to launch, and then you get what you paid for. Oh, you're still sad because you wasn't trying to get that in the first place. You were trying to exploit someone.
You didn't want the service. You wanted all the extras that came with it.
That's like going, oh man, I didn't, if I had known, I would have got caught and I'd have to suffer consequences for robbing this jewelry store. I wouldn't have robbed it. That's your problem.
You're supposed to not rob stuff because it's wrong, not because you know you're going to get caught.
Exactly. This is the dumbest argument. And I love that we live in this world where the media are completely trying to pitch it as this is Sony's fault.
Yeah, right. Like, it's ridiculous. It's stupid. And like, look, I'll beef Sony out for any. Give me something,
Bro,
anything.
I beefed
we
them
do it
out
all the time.
when this service came out. I said, "How have you still not figured out emulation of your own fucking console on the PS5?
Yeah, fair enough.
This is your own console. You have no excuse. You're a multi-billion-dollar company. Don't fucking say you can't do this."
Agreed. Yeah. No. Yeah.
And then
Yeah. It's ridiculous, and we will beef them out whenever it's appropriate. But this is ridiculous. This is stupid.
it's just the continuous hate train that people have for Sony.
Yeah, and look,
Just because they're the best.
right, and look, here's the thing: they're a soulless, heartless corporation that will do you over the second they think it's more profitable. The only reason they did this, and extended stuff for goodwill, it's corporate goodwill.
Yeah.
They think it's going to end up being much more profitable, and by extension, they therefore serve you with the best value that they can. Right?
Yeah.
It's not that they don't ever do anything wrong; it's that you tried to exploit something they didn't need. You're an idiot. It's stupid.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
What's really funny as well is that it only applies to people who have a PlayStation Now subscription as well.
Yeah.
Which even when PlayStation Now was the biggest it was,
Yes.
it was like 2.5 million people.
It wasn't a lot.
Right?
We
So-
were some of those.
So
Yeah.
I love how they're pitching this as like the biggest thing in the world. It's like there's probably like 10,
Scandal.
2.5 million people, and of those people, there aren't even people that even tried this. Probably like 10% of those people.
Probably not
So
even.
I'm like, this is like
You
a tiny percent of
You
people.
think 200,000 people went out and bought cards? I don't think so.
Exactly.
I don't think so at all.
Exactly. Anyway, that happened, and you're all fucking idiots and hypocrites. And
Yeah,
so-
that's stupid. It goes to show what sort of times we're in where that's what they're going for, to go after Sony, because they need anything. And this isn't because Sony's good. It's really because Microsoft's failing. Xbox is failing. They're failing to put out anything of value.
Yeah.
So they're targeting anything. I would like to see what those Stevia guys have to say about this new PlayStation thing not letting you do so. What was that? What were those
Yeah,
guys
what's
called?
them? Yeah.
I want to see
So
that.
Servitor.
I want to see. Why did I say Stevia? I think we mispronounced it. At the
I was
time.
going to say that's isn't that
That's
like
the
a sweetener?
yeah.
So,
I want to see them talk about how anti-consumer this is, and how it's okay that we haven't seen anything from Starfield, even though it releases in like 12 days or whatever it is, like freaking 4 months.
because
There was that thing for Halo Infinite. Like, no, Halo Infinite isn't this,
Yeah.
and it's okay. And then the next day, it releases a week later, and it's trash.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I can't even find their website. Maybe they've been deleted from the internet. Hopefully.
Oh no, that
Oh,
would be
no.
bad.
Okay, one final thing of just happiness. MW2 has officially been announced.
Yes.
We're getting a reboot. I'm not sure. It's a follow-up to the 2019 Modern Warfare campaign. The rumors suggest that it'll be a campaign featuring the U.S. Special Forces fighting Colombian drug cartels. Just the MW2 and in the trailer there was the flicking on of the night vision. Got me so hard. I was
I'm
so
with you.
excited.
So is it just the campaign? Because that's what
I think
campaign.
I think it's just going to be campaign, and also they're going to launch Warzone 2 with this.
See, I think there's room for just redoing the game, just
Yeah.
basically just reskin it and up frame rates. And I was going to ask you a question about it, which was, how much do you change it?
Yeah.
Because MW2, a lot of you are probably too young. A lot of these guys' first CODs were like Blops 2 and Blops 3. MW2 was broken. They had exploits and glitches. I mean, like game-breaking glitches for 9 months. One Man Army Noob Tubes was 9 months long.
Yeah.
That rock glitch was 6 months. There was a javelin glitch that was 7 months. There were a bunch of glitches, and they just never did anything. They never changed it.
They just left it.
Now, the game was also functionally broken in that just about every weapon was OP as frick. I used to joke that my favorite sniper rifle was the Spaz shotgun because you could one pump somebody almost halfway across the map.
It was so fucking far.
It was ridiculous.
The
Or you could
range.
the ranges, you could run dual ranges and just hip fire them with steady aim, and they were basically laser beams. It was ridiculous. But because everything was broken, the game kind of balanced out.
Yeah.
But like, do you nerf anything? And if so, what? Like Commando. The Commando lunge was ridiculous. But are you going to nerf it? I don't know if I would, because yes, it's broken and it's annoying, but like the dead man's hand or whatever it was, the grenade.
Yeah. Oh.
That's also broken, and that would get a lot of Commando lunges. But then like the Spaz shotgun, it's not okay to be shotgunning someone halfway across the map. So do you change it? Well, if you change it, aren't you changing the magic? You know?
Yeah.
So it's it's kind of a weird question. Would you change anything? I think I'd just stop the glitches and let the fuckery continue.
Yeah, I would fucking do that as well. Just let the fucking continue.
Just let it be utter chaos. Just be like, I would genuinely release it and be like, okay, look, we fixed the glitches. One Man Army Noob Tube doesn't work. The rock, you can't get inside. You can't get outside of that map on what was that thing with the? It's like it was in Russia where the nuke went off and there was a underground thing in the middle.
Wasteland.
You could get outside the map in that. Like, you can't do these. Otherwise, it is the mess that we left it in thing. You asked for it. Enjoy. And no, we're not balancing. And I would put balancing in air quotes.
Yeah.
It is what it is. This is the game. And I would just let it run. That's what I would do.
That would be hilarious. Unfortunately, I don't think they could do that.
I don't think they got the guts to put.
But it'd be great,
It would.
wouldn't it?
One thing, because Activision doesn't seem to understand that they can't just put out a game with the same freaking audio as they had. It would have today's audio quality for mics.
So yeah, please.
Other than that, though, unchanged. Because I actually think people would play something like that, as well as Warzone 2. I think people would like to jump on with more than 3 friends.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to get all the boys together and jump in like a 6v6 or a 9v9 and just run around and not have to worry if one of us goes down. Well, that's it. They got to just sit there and not play for the rest of the game. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, total aside.
We did have one question that from Diogo, but we are going a little bit long here, and we've got some other stuff to record, and obviously house moving and shit like that.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to save that for next week when we're in the new studio. But I'll pitch it right here so you guys can write in, and I think it'll be something to open up with.
Before you pitch the question,
Go
I'm
on.
going over your head. Frick Diogo.
Fuck Diogo, man. Fuck
We
this
just
guy.
don't want to do his question this week. Next week, maybe.
Maybe. We'll see if you're good.
What's the frickin' question?
He says, what is one gameplay mechanic that you detest the most? I actually have my answer, so it would have been cool to do it now, but as I said, we're going a bit long, and it's at the end of the video. I'd rather bring this to more beginning and whatnot, and you guys.
Yeah,
can
this will be a good discussion.
And
for next
some
week.
thing wrote in here, Gamers Master wrote in as well with his answer. Save it for next week, bro, because I think it's really good. And everyone else, feel free to write in, comment section below, and we'll read them out start of next episode, okay? One comment to read here. Do you want to read it? Tailgates one. It's just here about the MW2 stuff.
Cool. I'm interested in MW2 2022. That's a lot of freaking twos.
Yeah.
I like the MW 2019 campaign. That was COD 4, right? They re-released COD 4.
It's like a reboot, essentially.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's got I think it had price in it and whatnot, but it's a reboot. It's a reboot.
Oh, sad.
It was all right. It was good, but it wasn't like...
Yeah, but COD
it's
4
not-
and Modern Warfare 2 were
Exactly.
exceptional. Yeah.
They're still keeping something separate to them.
Cool, okay. I liked Modern Warfare 2019's campaign, so I'm interested to see where the story goes. And according to rumors, that's weird. There's a full stop there. The campaign is going to focus on Latin American cartels, so that's different from Russian militias or Middle Eastern terror groups. feel like these full stops are fucking me up.
Yeah, they are.
Let me start from the beginning. According to rumors, it's going to focus on Latin American cartels, and that's very different from Russian cartels or Middle Eastern terrorist groups as the bad guys in these types of military shooters. Modern Warfare 2019 looked insane for the time, so imagine how crazy MW2 is going to look. According to prominent COD leaker Tom Henderson, Modern Warfare 2 is going to be the last cross-gen COD game. That's good news.
Yeah.
I will say, Favela is one of the best maps ever. No exceptions. It's absolutely insane. It's so good.
Just grenades on that map was fucking hilarious because they just roll down everything.
It is so good. It was because so many different levels of verticality. I know everybody loves Nuketown, and I'm a fan of Nuketown and games and maps like Summit and stuff like that as well. But Favela had something special.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, and I don't think I've seen another map that made me go, man, this has got super like Favela vibes.
Yeah.
Favela is such a good freaking map.
I agree.
Sick.
I'm looking forward to MW2.
It's
not
full
as
gone
much
in
as
it. We'll probably pick it up.
Yeah, not as much as the old days when we used to pick up COD because we used to be more into the multiplayer and it would be the thing we played for the whole of the year.
And also, like, our friends we were all in uni and stuff, and most of us, like, now half of us have kids and we're all working. And
Isak Meni is playing Mass Effect Andromeda right now.
I'm interested to hear what he thinks. So Rob, friend of the show, he played that recently, and he was telling me about it. He goes, you know what? The story's okay. Like, they got stuff there, but obviously this game is not finished. Like, it is not finished. He was like, there's a line. You can hear someone in the ADR studio saying, okay, we'll do it again, or something like that. In it. Like, it's just unfinished. But apparently it's okay. It's just they, sort of went a bit off the deep end and then never finished the game, but still released it.
Damn, okay.
Yeah, it's weird.
All right.
Anyway, as far as you're concerned, they only got up to Mass Effect 3, and you only play... Really, it's 2 and 3. 2 is the masterpiece. Anyway, total side note.
All right, that's all the topics and everything that we have to discuss today. As I said, we went a bit long that time, but yeah, I hope you guys all enjoy it. Next week, we will be in the brand new studio.
Yeah, buddy.
I don't know what state it's going to be in.
Yeah, I was going to say, no promises for how it looks.
Yeah, exactly. It might look shit. It might look okay. We never know.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
Maybe. You never know. But yeah, we'll definitely be over there, and that'll be interesting. I posted some pictures already of like what the studio looks like now.
I
before
saw you
everything
put a
gets done.
casting couch in there.
Casting couch is definitely something we need, for the $69 tier patrons.
Of course.
And there's a bed there as well in case you want to move it over to somewhere more comfortable.
It's a little bit... oh, no, it used to be a room, didn't it? Yeah,
It
cool,
did
cool.
used to be
I was
a
going
bed.
to say, it's a little bit sus,
Why was there a bed there in the first place? But yeah, it'd be quite cool. Like, I like the amount of space we have over there. And... yeah,
it's like double the size of this at least. So.
Usable space as well, because everything's quite cramped in
Yeah.
here. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot for supporting us over here. Thanks for supporting us on Patreon. Thank you for everything that you guys do.
Thanks for liking the video, frick.
Damn it! Well, at least you did it right at the end, so people where everyone's gonna be.
Right, yeah, where we have the most of our audience retention. Yeah,
Exactly. Thank you guys for supporting us. Catch you all in the next one, and I'll catch you in the next one, bro.
Yeah, buddy.
Goodbye, room. Goodbye, studio.
I saw a few tweets earlier
time.
of people saying, who was it? Somebody goes, I want to credit them. They said, where is it? No. It was Adam. He goes, why do I feel sad about someone moving from a house they've never been in? I know. And then Zacchino, a.k.a. Zacchino, came back and said, don't worry, we'll make the new place... we'll make the new house a home. Oh,
Guys.
Bro, that's better fake crying than Amber Heard did.
In her trial.
Yeah, it's been bad. Anyway.
Catch you on the next one, guys.
Later, boys.